FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's Holy Grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Yes guy, no guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, drivers and passengers, time now for the Leafs Game Night edition of Yes Guy, No Guy. Frankie C., you all set?
Yes guy, let's do it, Jimmy.
Okay, yes guy, no guy number one. You are surprised that the Oilers come back.
No, guy, I'm not surprised that the Oilers come back. This is who we thought the Oilers were coming into the season. It was a very uncharacteristically bad start for them. A lot of things didn't go their way. They're just making up ground to where they should have been at this point in the season. Actually, they probably should still be ahead of where they are in the second wildcard position. Yes guy, no guy, Jimmy. The Leafs can address all of their needs at the deadline.
I'm going to say no guy. I have a supplemental yes guy that'll sort of clear this up. I don't see it. I actually think that they should do what they did at the last deadline. Add two on the blue line and two up front, or was it 3 and 3? I don't know that they have the assets to do it. So I'm going to say no guy on that.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're going to have enough currency in the bank or the appetite to make a lot of moves to address every single need. Like 2 defensemen, maybe 2 forwards, a goaltender. Like, you can't make all those moves at the deadline. You have to prioritize 1, maybe 2 of those, and then see if you can make do with the rest of what you got.
Okay, so here's the supplemental yes guy, no guy that follows that. Yes guy, no guy. The Leafs need A players, not depth players at the deadline.
Well, I'll say yes guy to that, but it's going to be difficult to come up with those kinds of players because you're not going to want to get rid of Fraser Minton. You're probably not going to get rid of Easton Cowan. We'll see if they want to part with that first-round pick. So if you're not willing to do all of those, who are you bringing back? You just don't have enough currency to bring back big-time impact players. That's why I think, Jimmy, you could probably bring in 1 player who has a significant impact, and if I could have my pick, that would be someone on the blue line who can play in the top 4. Someone steady, someone reliable, but you can't do everything. There's no way you can bring in multiple pieces that are going to have a big impact for you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes guy, no guy. Ilya Samsonov gave you some confidence after his last game.
I'm going to say no guy, and I don't want to be too harsh. I think it was a good return for him, but I need a bigger sample size of positives for him, so I'm going to say no guy at that point.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jimmy. I think it's, you know what, it was fine for the first game back. It wasn't a disaster, so that's a step in the right direction. But we're going to need to see a little bit more of that and then some here as the season goes on for Ilya Samsonov.
Yes guy, no guy. The left wing, top to bottom, is returning as a concern for you.
Oh, let's take a look at that quickly. All right, Jimmy, we got Pontus Holmberg, Matthew Nice, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Bobby McMahon. I'll give you a yes guy, Jimmy. I know you're fishing around for a yes guy. I'll let you have one. I'll humor you. No problem. Listen, I think Pontus Holmberg is a good player. He's serviceable. Is he a first-line left winger? Absolutely not, in my opinion. And there he is playing with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. So that's an issue. Matthew Nyes, he was talking this morning, Jimmy, about how he's 40 games into this season. Normally, his college season would be done by now. So the rigors of an NHL regular season are catching up with him, and he's still in that adjustment period. Then you have another rookie in Bobby McMahon and Tyler Bertuzzi, who's been good at times and has gone quiet at times. And, Sheldon Keefe benched him in the third period against Colorado because he didn't think he was bringing anything to the table. So there still is some to be desired on the left side of the ice up front. What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it is a concern. And let's not forget about Nyes, played in the Prospects tournament. So he's been going since very early September. So he's going to hit a wall at some point and has to reset.
That's a good point about that Prospect tournament. I know you were there covering it. You saw every shift of that Prospects tournament. So
thank you,
shout out
City.
to you. Yeah, shout out to you, Traverse City, one of your favorite summertime hotspots. How about this one, Jimmy? Talking about all these different areas the Leafs need help in. Third line center is a bigger priority than you may have thought.
I'm going to say no, guy, because it was always a huge priority for me. In fact, it's been a huge priority ever since Nazem Kadri left town. They never really replaced him that way. They've had a number of people try out, but it doesn't work, and so it's always been a major concern. So because of the wording of your question, I have to say no, guy. But
you always thought it was a big priority.
Absolutely. I mean, they tried camp up there how many times and it didn't work. Kerfoot before, it's just there's a missing element there.
Yeah, so earlier in the program, Ryan Rashog talked about how good Zach Hyman's dollar figure is.
Oh, boy.
And now here we are with you bringing up that the Leafs haven't had a serviceable or, I guess, stereotypical third-line center since Nazem Kadri. Man, we're really digging up things from the past here.
We are.
We're digging the knife. We're digging the knife into Leafs fans right now.
We're peeling back the scab. But the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people will get sour on a player and say, move him out. Well, that's part of the equation. The other part is, what do you get back? And it has to be equal to or better. And if it doesn't have the same elements of the guy you're moving out, then that's not good.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got one, or you want me to give you one?
I got another one here. Yes guy, no guy. Holmberg stays.
Yes, guy, he stays, but not on the top line, Jimmy. He's going to stay in the lineup in some capacity. He's versatile. He plays on the wing. He plays in the middle of the ice, lower in the lineup. He can give you the kind of minutes you need. And maybe there's a little more offense there. He's a pretty smart player. He had some offense when he played in Sweden. I don't know. He's just a guy, but he can do something for you when he's in the lineup. I kind of like him. Here, I'll follow up on that for you. Yeah, and maybe this will take it one step further for you if you're a fan of Pontus Holmberg. Yes, guy, no guy. Pontus Holmberg should watch Zach Hyman play tonight and take notes.
I'm going to say yes, guy, to that because obviously Zach Hyman's a good fit in Edmonton, as he was in the blue and white. I mean, this is quintessential winger. He does everything that you want him to do, has developed a scoring touch. I mean, why wouldn't you want to take notes on him? So that is a firm, hard, all capital letters, yes guy.
Well, my point with that would be, Zach Hyman, his skill set, and Pontus Holmberg's, yes, Zach Hyman is more of a skilled player, but a similar type of player where it's like you take a look at him at first, you're like, okay, that's a guy who can play lower in the lineup, but then he really figures out how to play with good players. And why couldn't Pontus Holmberg have some kind of semblance of that to a much lesser degree, obviously, because of what Hyman has done here over the course of his career. But, where you're just a guy that you're the one going in kind of retrieving pucks on the forecheck. You're the one trying to come out with pucks in battle situations. And, if you figure out how to do that, all of a sudden you free up some space for Marner and Matthews to have a little extra time to make plays. You're having a big impact on that line. So, I don't know. That's what Zach Hyman did really well. That's maybe something Pontus Holmberg can aspire to do as well.
Okay, and I know you have the FanDuel parlay for us.
I do, Jimmy. How much time we got here? You want one more yes guy, no guy? I got one more. I got a great one for you, actually.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes guy, no guy, Jimmy. The Leafs have the toughest remaining schedule this season. So let me ask you this. The Leafs' challenging schedule will prove to be just what the doctor ordered for this group.
Yes, guy. They've responded. I mean, take a look at that trip to California. I'm somewhat optimistic about this trip. I mean, as we like to say, it's non-negotiable, so it should work out for them.
One of our favorites, #non-negotiable. But, this is one of the things we always talk about with this team is that they play down to their opponents and they play up to their opponents. And there's nowhere to hide. When they're going to play some really good teams here over the next little while, but more importantly, down the stretch into the end of the regular season, there's nowhere to hide. You can't have any nights off. They're going to play Edmonton. They're going to play Vancouver. Seattle has played really well recently. They're going to have to play the Winnipeg Jets home and home. They have a lot of really good games coming up, and they're going to have to face that head on. And if they don't, whatever warts this team has will be exposed.
Yes, guy. I have another one, but do your parlay first.
All right, Jimmy, here's our parlay for tonight. I think Matty C cooked this one up for us, so shout out to Matty C. Let's see if he can hit this one. Matthews anytime goal scorer plus 110. Marner to record 3+ shots on goal plus 120. The Maple Leafs on the money line, they are underdogs at plus 128. Total odds of that plus 639. A $20 a $20 bet pays out $127. So our boy Matty C, Jimmy, going heavy underdog on a parlay. This guy rolls the dice.
Wow, it's got Matty C written all over it. I mean, he needs that money for gas for his car.
Whew, yeah, I saw that thing. That is a guzzler, but a real nice car, Matty C.
Yeah. Nice wheels, buddy. Yeah. Okay, yes guy, no guy. I think this should wrap us up here. Yes guy, no guy. You were more optimistic last year at exactly the same time for the Leafs than you are right now.
Ooh, that is a good one. More optimistic last year. I will probably say yes, and I would just
yes
say
guy. I mean, the format is yes guy, no guy. I mean,
yeah,
what is
thank
yes?
you. Yeah, it's a tentative yes guy. Is that allowed? A tentative yes guy?
Oh, it's a new category, but the lawyer said it's okay. New category. I like it.
Okay, so last season Mark Giordano was 1 year younger. They were a little more robust on the blue line, and I think they were a little more experienced up front. Now you take a look at some of the players they've brought in. Like I'll still take Max Domi over Alex Kerfoot because of the offensive upside that Max Domi has. But we're looking at a situation where Pontus Holmberg is playing on your first line. That was Michael Bunting last year. Like Michael Bunting is a significant upgrade in that regard. TJ Brody was better last year than he's been this year. So there was a little more reason to be optimistic, not to mention the goaltender, your starting goaltender, Ilya Samsonov at this point of the year, was playing really well, especially on home ice. Like he was unbeatable on home ice. He was really good in those high danger situations as well. So it's almost, you can almost saw it off, but if you're asking me to pick last year to this year, I feel like things were a little more certain for the team last year. It felt like they were just going to cruise to the playoffs last year, where you look at it now, they're at 50 points, and the Detroit Red Wings and the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are, both in the Atlantic, they're taking up both wild card spots. They're 1 point behind the Leafs. So, the Leafs are closer to being out of the playoffs than they are to, catching the Florida Panthers, who are second in the Atlantic right now.
Well, and the other thing is, and people will say this now, and I don't like this thought process. Well, they get in the playoffs, they may get lucky. Luck's got nothing to do with it for me. And the other one was, in the summer, Boston and Florida will drop off. Well, Guy, they haven't.
Yeah, those are lazy narratives, just to expect that, Florida, they went all the way to the finals and they got some guys hurt. They're just going to drop off. Florida was a really good team last year, but they were injured a lot, and they got healthy at the right time, and they got a hot goaltender at the right time, and they were able to score when it mattered most. The Boston Bruins lost two very important players, yes, but they still had a very good team with that the same bones around that team when it comes to the goaltenders, when it comes to the back end. And yes, you lost two big pieces up front, but they've been able to weather that storm, and it hasn't really slowed them down. Not to mention, Jim Montgomery has done a really good job there extracting the most he possibly can out of that group. So, you can't just expect teams to fall off and say, okay, great, we're not going to improve that much, but you guys are going to fall off a significant amount, and now we're going to be all good. Like, it just doesn't work like that in the NHL.
Totally agree. And the odd thing is still the Edmonton Oilers for me, just returning to them because we'll set up the opening faceoff for you at the top of the hour, but we've got a couple of minutes here. You look at this team. They fired their coach. They lost. They were in the midst of a winning streak. They won one, fired the coach, won two, then lost three, then won 8, then lost 3, then won 10. This is remarkable. It's sort of a return to what they're capable of, but they sent Jack Campbell down and called up Pickard, and he's done a reasonable job. But they've all sort of, I guess, really the answer is they put a bigger mirror in the dressing room. They all looked in it, didn't they?
Well, that's exactly what needs to happen. When you go through the stretch that they did, where they lose big to Vancouver on back-to-back games, they lose to the San Jose Sharks, and a lot of people for a regional broadcast, whoever was broadcasting that game between Edmonton and San Jose at that particular time, that must have been a rating spike, the likes of which haven't been seen since Jim Taddy was walking the red carpet for opening night on Maple Leaf Gardens back in the day. So, the Edmonton Oilers have really found a way to turn things around, and tonight we get a star-studded affair between one of the hottest teams in the NHL and a Toronto Maple Leafs team looking to find their way.
Okay, so we'll set up the opening faceoff for you next. The Leafs starting their Western Canadian swing in Edmonton, and it eventually wraps up in Seattle. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, it's just me helping the city with my super strength. And help is what we did for Dave and Keith. They wanted a new living room, and we're approved for a home renovation loan. I'm invited to their next potluck, and I'm bringing my famous hero dip. I basically just melt a jar of cheese with my super heat vision.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
You've heard that sound before. A basketball going off the backboard and in. A bank shot. Well, that's actually the sound of a fan winning a Raptors jersey. That's the sound of a fan getting a signed Raptors basketball. And that's a fan scoring tickets to the NBA Finals. With the Tangerine Bank Shot contest, every bank shot the Raptors score this season wins a fan a prize. Enter for a chance to win at tangerine.ca/bankshot. Tangerine, that's forward banking.
We are summer. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Coming soon, North America's largest indoor boat show, the Toronto International Boat Show. Browse, compare, shop, deal. The best place to see boats is the best place to buy them. January 19th to 28th at the Enercare Center.
We are summer. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
The Toronto Boat Show.
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com.
Start another Western road trip. Questions loom. Is it the losses that concern you or the inability to keep a lead? One leads to the other for sure. Tonight at Edmonton, the Oilers are rolling. They've won their last 10 in a row, and the last two getting pushed to overtime, so maybe it's about to switch. Will the Leafs be able to find their game and keep the Oilers from playing theirs? That's the ultimate question. Let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you, setting the stage for Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. And here is the lineup tonight. Everything's switched on the left side. Matthews between Marner and Holmberg. Tavares between Nylander and Nyes. Domi centering Yarncroke and Bertuzzi. Cam centering Noah Gregor and Bobby McMahon. On the blue line, everything's back to the way it was a couple of games ago. Riley Brody, Benoit McCabe, Gio and Liljegren, and in goal, back to the way it was, Martin Jones. What do you make of all that shuffling, especially on the left side, Frankie C?
Sheldon Keefe is trying to find something right now, Jimmy. He's trying to find something between these lines where he can put them out and say, okay, go and score me a goal. But more importantly, once you have those goals and once you have those leads, can you keep the leads? Can I trust lines? And trying to find a little bit of balance. And, having Pontus Holmberg up with Matthews and Marner gives him an opportunity to see if he has a little more offense in his game. And Matthew Nyes with Tavares and Nylander, I've always liked that fit for him, but he's reaching the point in the season where he's played the same amount of games that he would have played last year in college. So, for Matthew Nyes, there's a little bit of an adjustment period. We see some games where he really has it. He's engaged. He's using his big body. And then we see some games where he's maybe half a step behind. Tonight would be a great opportunity for him to have a big game against a really good Edmonton Oilers team that has two really good lines up front. As far as the third line goes, Max Domi is going to have to drive this line. Calle Jarnkrok is going to be the defensively responsible player on this line. But Sheldon Keefe needs to get more out of Tyler Bertuzzi. He's moved him off the line with Tavares and Nylander. That was a line he felt like he couldn't go to Saturday night versus the Colorado Avalanche as he benched Tavares and Bertuzzi in that game. And then the fourth line with McMahon, Kampf, and Gregor, they have one job tonight, Jimmy. Don't get scored on. That line was on the ice, or Kampf and Gregor were on the ice for 2 goals against the Detroit Red Wings. Matthew Nyes was on that line for one of those goals that goes in. Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution for the fourth line. And on the back end, just make good decisions with the puck. Let's not get into a situation where we get late in the game and you're coughing up pucks or unsure of what to do. If you don't have a play, it's hard. It's out of the zone. Chip pucks out. Chip pucks in. Keep your game simple. And for Martin Jones, he's played a lot of hockey recently. He's played some good hockey. You can't see his game fall off. You want his game to stay engaged. He's been a good goalie in this league for a long time now. He needs to continue doing what he did when he first came up and played so well with this team.
It's interesting because I think when you look at the Leafs, you're always thinking about how they score goals. But in this particular case, it's going to be about how they defend, isn't it?
It is going to be about how they defend, because this Edmonton Oilers team, they can put the puck in the back of the net, and they're going to be going up against one of the best lines in hockey right now, and that's Connor McDavid, former Leafs Zach Hyman, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. They've been outstanding, and if that line isn't enough of a handful for you, then they're coming back with a line that features Leon Draisaitl and Evander Kane and Warren Foegele, and it may not seem as sexy as a line when it comes to the names, but when things weren't going well for the Edmonton Oilers earlier in the season, Warren Foegele and Evander Kane were 2 of the best forwards for this team. So there's a lot of game in both of those players, and they're getting a little more when it comes to the depth players on the Edmonton Oilers lineup. And we talked to Ryan Rishaug earlier today, and he said it's not like they're just a high-powered offensive team right now. They're playing great defensively, and that's been the catalyst for a lot of their wins, not to mention that Stuart Skinner's playing really well. So 10 in a row coming into this game for the Edmonton Oilers. They've played great. They've righted the ship, and now they're knocking on the door here of catching the Los Angeles Kings for 3rd in the Pacific.
So trying to figure out what stays in a hockey player's mind. You have that great California trip. You come home, you beat San Jose, and then you've got 3 games that you should have won because you had the lead, but you couldn't hold on to it. So as you're starting a road trip, do you flush all that?
Well, it's not that you flush all of it. Really what it does is you take a look at what you did good during those games, and you want to continue doing that well. You take a look at what struggles you had, maybe areas you could improve, and try and improve upon those areas. It's pretty simple, but you kind of get into this routine where you do the same things every day, and you know what makes yourself a good player. Lean on those qualities. Lean on the confident highlight reel that you have going in your head as an individual and as a team. Understand what you need to do in order to close out games. It's great that the Leafs have been in position to win games. They've had those leads, and now you have to find a way to close them out. That's part of the job of winning games in the NHL. It's not easy, but it can be done.
This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
It will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
4-game Western road trip starting for the Maple Leafs as they tangle with the Oilers in Edmonton tonight. And the starting netminders, Martin Jones, 8-4-1 for the Leafs, 2.30 goals against average. He's 10-8-2 lifetime against the Oilers. Stuart Skinner, 18-9-1, 2.63 and a .903 save percentage. 1-1-0 against the Leafs, who defend to our right. Oilers to the left, and we're underway as it rolls down into Edmonton territory. Bouchard working up on the left wing, plays it to the Leaf blue line, knocked away there by Brody. Chip back into the zone. Matthews in pursuit. Matthews curls in the far corner. Works it back now to Marner. Marner holds, sends it back to Matthews. He scores! 27 seconds into the game. Austin Matthews set up by Marner. And that will quiet things in the Rogers Center in Edmonton.
Not that we were going to pull out the shutout streak or non-shutout streak early, but you give a lot of credit here, Joe, to Pontus Holmberg. Put on the line with Marner and Matthews. He gets it deep down the right wing boards. Then it's Matthews and Marner go to work, a give and go. As Matthews drops the puck to Marner and then heads right to the net. Evan Bouchard does not pick up Matthews until Matthews has snapped it into the empty cage to give the Leafs the early lead.
34th of the season for Austin Matthews. And the Leafs get the opening goal very quickly as it's played down into the Toronto end. Swept around the boards by Jones. Puck comes free. Nylander working through neutral ice. In across the line. Back in for Tavares. And it was deflected away there by Stuart Skinner. Back come the Oilers to center. And across the line is Draisaitl. He turns the puck over. Nyes right up the middle of the ice to the line. Way offside as Tavares, as Nyes made an extra move. And then Nurse flattens Nyes late.
Boy, if they're going to let this go, that's fine. But you've now set the standard for what's going to be called in the game, as Matthew Nyes not even paying attention after the offside. And right around the time he gets to the Edmonton net, Darnell Nurse gives him a little shot and knocks him down.
That was rather interesting, wasn't it?
But I think that's fine as long as that is now the standard for the game.
Well, and you know as well as I do, that standard fluctuates a bit.
Which is kind of why I brought it up.
Yes, exactly. Played around on the far side. Leafs keep it in the Edmonton zone. Down into the corner it goes. Centering pass looking for Bertuzzi didn't work, and it'll force Giordano back into his own zone. Giordano did not dress against the Detroit Red Wings. Back-to-back games, giving the veteran defenseman some time off as the puck comes to center ice, but it's turned over, and the Oilers bring it right back in over the line. Janmark trying to play it into the corner. Does so as it's launched back towards the blue line. Broken up there by the Leafs. Domi with an odd man rush, left wing side, but pulls up. Now gets it into the slot. A shot. Oh, and a chance there for Bertuzzi. Hit the goalpost. And then another shot by Domi. Goes up off his stick and into the screen.
Well, the Leafs opened the scoring early, but Tyler Bertuzzi off the post. And this was after Arnay failed to keep the puck in at the right point. Max Domi took off. Looked like he had an opportunity to maybe take it to the net, but instead pulls up.
It was Yarncrook that hit the post, and Bertuzzi couldn't get his stick on it in order to push it into the empty net.
It was the redirection in front.
Did Bertuzzi get his stick on it, you think? Yep.
Yeah, I think just off the toe of Bertuzzi's stick off the post and out.
Gregor keeping the puck in. Morgan Riley sends it to the net. That is swallowed up by Skinner. And the Leafs have certainly started this first period with great pace and getting some quality scoring chances.
The Leafs went to California, and again, it was almost the same feeling, wasn't it? They'd struggled at home. They lost games against teams that you figure they should have handled not easily, but in a more competent manner. And then go to L.A. and shut out the Kings in the first game of that trip.
Well, they're 11-3-6 on the road. At home has been where the team has struggled. As it's played to center ice, Oilers are able to knock it down. Adam Ernie sending it back into his own zone, and now Cody Ceci starts out at center. Ceci with a long shoot in on Jones, who tucks it around back of the net, and David Camp chipping it off the boards to center. Noah Gregor missed a hit, but got it in over the line for McMahon. McMahon with a little bit of room to work with. Tried to get it back to the point to Morgan Riley, but it was picked off. And Connor Brown brings it back into over the line and sends it down into the corner. Played around the boards near side for McMahon. Chopped at, but he couldn't get it out. Gets another opportunity with it. Doesn't clear. Cleared back into the corner. Cut off there by Riley. And Riley now makes a long outlet pass looking for Matthews, but it goes down into the Toronto zone. Holmberg draws the additional assist on the Matthews goal set up by Mitch Marner. Now Matthews along the blue line, keeping it into Oiler territory to Riley. He goes around back of the net. Stops up there. Tried to center it in front of the net. He had Holmberg there, but couldn't get him the puck. Gets it back again. Centers to Matthews, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Riley with a shot. Blockered away there by Skinner. Oilers trying to work the puck out at center ice with McDavid, and it's down into the Toronto zone. Broken up there by Brody. Brody around back of the net, fighting for possession of that puck. Makes a good play to get it out. Took a bit of a hit. The Oilers send it in on a delayed offside, and Tavares will skate back to play it around back of the net for Morgan Riley. Riley pumps it around the wall. It's going to clear all the way down the ice, and an icing call is going to come here against the Maple Leafs.
One thing the Leafs are really going to have to be aware of is turning the puck over at the Edmonton blue line. And we just saw it there. Connor Brown knocked it down. If that's McDavid or Draisaitl, they can make you pay in a heartbeat. You don't get pucks deep and think defense first. And you can call it game management or whatever you want, but you got to be aware of who you're on the ice against.
Leafs poke it out at center. Nurse was able to play it back. Tavares will shoot it deeper into Edmonton territory, and Cody Ceci now tries to work it out at center. That was blocked partially by Nylander, but the Oilers are going to get it deep into the Toronto zone. Draisaitl in the corner. Got it off his skate. It comes back into the corner again. Grabbed off there once more by Evander Kane. He had a stick come up and clipped Draisaitl. The puck still free along the boards. Poked up at center, and the Leafs don't get it out. Kept alive by Ceci. A long shot. That was stopped. Rebound pushed ahead. Nylander's going to circle back and will regroup the puck in his own zone as it's played out into center ice territory and down into Edmonton zone. 1-0 Toronto, an early goal, 27 seconds in by Austin Matthews. Pumped down into the Toronto end. Played back at the net by the Leafs. Domi trying to get it freed up. Now back at the net for Giordano along the boards and not out again. Giordano unable to get to it. Domi does, and it is Liljegren working it ahead for Bertuzzi, who will just bank it down into the Edmonton zone. Desharnais getting back after the puck. Played out into the center ice area and down into the Leaf end. Now Camp dropping it back. 1-0 in favor of the Maple Leafs.
Goal chance going on in Edmonton right now.
Oh, there are a lot of fans. The whole back of the behind the Leaf bench is filled with Leaf jerseys. The only trip out to Edmonton for transported Easterners, and now Riley works in with a shot and a pad save made by Skinner. Puck is still in the Edmonton zone. Punched out at center and down in on the left wing goes Brown. Brown pulls up, tried to play it back, shot off a leg, gobbled up by Toronto, and Benoit will get it out at center ice. Dropping it back for McMahon, and the Leafs are going to regroup it, waiting for a change of players. Ahead for Benoit. Simon Benoit sends it down into the Edmonton zone. Around back of the net for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg trying to free it up for Matthews, but the Oilers tried to get it out. Matthews back checking, took it away there from McDavid. Then he bunts it away from McDavid, but a man was just trapped inside the zone, putting the play offside. Austin Matthews on a give and go with Marner, and the Maple Leafs have a 1-0 lead on Matthews' league-leading 34th of the season. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Austin Matthews has moved into 4th place all-time in Maple League goal-scoring history, passing Ron Ellis with his 333rd in a Leaf uniform. He's got some work cut out for him this season if he's going to catch David Keon at 365. That'd be 32 more goals, but wouldn't surprise me. Played down into the Edmonton zone. Oilers punch it up on the boards. McCabe pinches. The puck comes back, but it was misfired on a pass for Pontus Holmberg. Now Benoit hustling after a puck, but can't get there in time to have it icing. And the Leafs have it around back of the net with McCabe. McCabe, a bank pass to center. Marner settles. Now just going to launch it high into the Edmonton zone. And the Oilers go back. 12:38 to play first period. 1-0 Toronto. Leafs out shooting Edmonton 5-1. A lead pass at center. Oilers had to hold up at the blue line. Diving to knock it into the Edmonton zone was Bobby McMahon. Edmonton now trying to work out of its own territory, and it is shot in and bounced around into the corner. Ekholm getting it in deep. Now McDavid working against Camp, comes out in front with a jam play that was blocked. The puck goes into the corner. McDavid has it again. Back to the point to Bouchard. To the point now, and a shot in on a backhand try. That was blocked. Good play by Morgan Riley to deny Nugent Hopkins the front of the net. And the Leafs are going to get to the line, but not out again. Fourth line in trouble here in their own end. McDavid works in front of the net, and there's going to be a penalty here to Toronto. It's going to come out into the center ice area.
Be an interesting one to look at.
Oilers with an extra attacker on the ice, and a shot is deflected wide of the net, bounding all the way out at center ice. Oilers bring it right back in again. Now driving the net, a shot blocked there by goaltender Jones, and I think that's a bit of a quick whistle because Jones made the save but didn't have control of the puck by any stretch.
Look at this again. Connor McDavid, the Leafs' inability to exit the zone.
We're 74, 2 minutes for hooking.
Hooking is going to be the call as McDavid just curls out of the corner and then dances his way in. Even this is, I mean, if that's the standard, all right, the first one attempt by McMahon got into the hands a little bit of McDavid, but it was really the stick on stick that caused McDavid to lose the puck on the second attempt.
Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. Oilers with the power play. At the point, Bouchard on the wing, a shot blocked there by Jones. They are 32 of 127, 7th in the NHL. At the point, Bouchard. Near side, McDavid down low, couldn't connect there with Hyman at the side of the net. Around back of the net goes Draisaitl. Draisaitl playing it off on the left wing boards. The Oilers are 7th this year, but last year they were way out in front in the power play department. Here's McDavid. Back again for Draisaitl. Left wing side. Played back. Tripped up there by the Leafs defenseman Giordano was McDavid without a call. Now here's a shot from the point that was blocked. Nugent Hopkins letting it go. Pass across. A one-timer there by Draisaitl in his favorite spot. And that was blocked. Played off the glass and out and down the ice to center ice anyway by Giordano. Right back in, but called offside by the linesman.
As you mentioned, the Oilers power play 7th. The Leafs are 6th overall coming into this game in power play proficiency, but the Oilers in their last 3, 1 for 8. As Leon Draisaitl misses that by, about 9 inches? As he just grazes it off the side of the net. That's one of those things. Don't ever then Tampa's power play. You know exactly what they're going to do. But boy,
damn if you can stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hammered around the boards by the Leafs. Out and down the ice it'll go. 44 seconds left in the power play. Darnell Nurse. Second unit on the ice now for Edmonton. In across the line, trying to drive the net was Fogle. It comes out, and the Leafs are going to work it out at center with Nylander. Had it knocked off his stick to the blue line. Nylander a partial block, but Brown has sent it back, and now turning back up ice is Warren Fogle. Markham native couldn't get it into the Toronto zone. Shot back down the ice by the Maple Leafs, whose penalty kill is 24th in the league. 27 of 118. They've given up 4 in their last 10 times short over the last 5 games. Ripped around the boards. Chopped there by McLeod. Played around to the far side. Penalty expires. Shot from an angle. Swallowed up by Jones. And he will hold for a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. So the Maple Leafs fend off the first power play for Edmonton and have the opening goal thanks to Austin Matthews. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall,
From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
The holiday season is officially behind us. The eggnog is gone and the decorations will soon be packed away. But maybe not Carol's next door. She leaves hers up all year long. I've never understood why. With Sunwing Vacations, say goodbye to January blues and hello to savings. Picture this: palm trees swaying, crystal clear waters, and not a fruitcake in sight. So long, awkward family moments. Paradise is calling. Book with your local travel agent or...
The challenge of playing Connor McDavid and company has not been lost on Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner since they have been together. Their record against Edmonton is 16-3-2, which is somewhat remarkable, I think, under the circumstances.
Connor McDavid, more points than Austin Matthews in head-to-head matchups, but Matthews has the lead in goals. But you're right. I mean, the big surprise was during the COVID season, where the Leafs went into Edmonton and without any fans there, won 3 straight games against the Oilers, only giving up 1 goal.
Without any fanfare and without any fans. Pass ahead at center, knocked down by the Oilers. Derek Ryan backhands it into the Toronto end. Now Morgan Riley, nice little pass for Matthews, got it ahead for Holmberg. Steered into the offensive zone. Marner up forechecking. Circling the goal is Brett Kulak, and then he drops it back into the Edmonton defense core, and the change is coming for both teams. 8:34 left to play in the first period. And the Maple Leafs have a 1-0 lead. Launched down into the Toronto zone. Around the boards it comes to the near side. Bouncing puck back of the net for McCabe. Got double teamed in there. Benoit runs into the same double team in the near corner. Trying to help out there is John Tavares. That scrum continues. Tavares got the puck back towards the blue line, but it was shot in wide of the Leaf goal. Now Nurse from a sharp angle. That was handled easily there by Jones. Leafs chipping it off the boards. Nyes unable to get it off the boards and out. They get it to the line, and then a long shoot-in is going to be gloved and thrown aside by Jones. Benoit trying to play it up the boards. That might have hit the referee, but it's pushed to center ice, and now Tavares in across the line with Nylander. Tavares unable to get around back of the net, and Draisaitl has it in his own zone. A pass up on the right wing is going to get to the defense, and Bouchard will send it into the Leaf end. Puck on the end boards behind the Toronto goal. McDavid trying to pry it free. Brody chips it along. Riley couldn't get it out. Back to the point. Bouchard with a shot in traffic. That deflected into the far corner. And Marner still on the ice, getting it on the boards. Now just getting it airmailed high to center ice. Fair catch called there by Pontus Holmberg, but it didn't quite work out as the Oilers have knocked it back into the Leaf end. Al Marner coming out of his own zone. A pass in behind Matthews doesn't work. Brought right back in again by Draisaitl and McDavid. A pass into the corner didn't work. McDavid wheeling around out in the slot area. Now to his backhand. Now around back of the goal. Got upended. Riley goes after the puck. They collide in there. The puck's still free. Riley batting at it. And now Brody unable to get to it. But he chips it up ahead. And Holmberg unable to reach it in time to get it out. Kept alive by Evan Bouchard. Played down into the corner. Oilers, Nugent Hopkins getting it back. McDavid, a pass intercepted by Holmberg, and he's going to gingerly play it into Edmonton territory to allow a change of players.
That Matthews line really struggled to do against Colorado, which is maintain offensive zone puck possession. You see that entire shift. The Matthews line is defending in their own end.
Cleared down into the Toronto zone. Bertuzzi got it up on the wing, but Yarncrook couldn't get it out for him. Oilers have had good puck possession, and now 8 shots on goal, and a rebound in front of the net is stopped on the short side. A backhand there by James Hambin. Round on the wall. The Leafs were up 5-1 in shots at one point, but now the Oilers have another opportunity, and that was stopped. There's a scramble in front of the goal. Cleared ahead to the blue line and just out. Bertuzzi will send it down into Edmonton territory.
One of the things the Leafs have really got to be aware of, Joe, the Edmonton defense are pinching. Every time the Leafs try to force it out along the boards, the Edmonton D, we saw Cody Ceci do it 3 times in one shift. So the Leafs cannot look at that as an automatic exit, trying to force it up the boards.
Along the wall, it is played to the blue line, not out, kept in at the point by Derek Ryan. Sent into the near half boards. Referee took a tumble in the corner. No one around him. And now here's McCabe. Got hooked in there along the boards. Puck comes back to the point. Long shot. Blocked the rebound into the corner. McCabe will try it again. Again, pinching on the far side and keeping it in was Janmark. And the Maple Leafs now trying to settle things down. They have been under pressure in their own end. Tipped down into the zone by the Leafs' 4th line. Oilers get it ahead. Fogle got it to the Toronto zone. In goes Draisaitl into the corner. Got it back at the net. Gets it returned. Tried to center in front of the net. Tavares arrived just in the nick of time. And the Maple Leafs get it ahead, and Nylander has some skating room. To center ice and in with Morgan Riley. Riley cuts to the net with a pass in front. And crashing into Skinner, and the puck back to the point. Skinner is down, so is Tavares, and then Tavares is pulled by the shirt by Fogle, but Skinner seems to be in some discomfort after the collision with Tavares. Kane pulls the feet out from underneath John Tavares, who crashes into the net. So if the goaltender is hurt, he can certainly thank his own teammate for the incident.
And maybe give the official a wink as well.
It is a 1-0 Toronto lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness gracious.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
We are saying goodbye to the greatest college football coach the sport has ever seen.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
College football is going to be a lot worse off without Nick Saban.
And expert analysis on college sports radio.
This is huge news. This is something that is going to have a massive domino effect on college football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Coulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Stuart Skinner appears to be all right after the collision with John Tavares.
And I know Tavares talked to the official as to why there wasn't a penalty, and I made the comment to you in the commercial break. You think it would be the other way around when 97 was heading to the net and crashed into the goal, if there'd be a penalty or not. Because I thought the hooking penalty, McMahon and McDavid, was an all-star call, which is pretty popular in the NBA, where they like to shield their top players.
Leafs win the face-off. McCabe, D to D, far side. Liljegren up against the boards, got it freed up, then trying to play it back to the blue line was Tavares, but the pass was intercepted, and racing in there after it is Derek Ryan, and he and McCabe arrive at the same time with the puck wedged up against the boards. It comes free, and Nyes is able to just play it out at center ice. Nylander steals it, but couldn't settle it down to get around the defenseman. Played it around the boards for Nyes on the near boards. Nyes into the corner for Tavares. Tavares down low for Willie. Nylander curls, still with it, back in front of the net, bouncing puck, in on goal, knocked down. Tavares tripped and then cross-checked in the goal crease. That's okay. It's brought out at center ice now by Edmonton.
And you can see the frustration of Tavares looking at the official who just gave him the shoe.
Down into the Edmonton zone it goes. Bouchard for the Oilers plays it around the wall. The Leafs trying to add some time in the offensive zone here with Marner now. Back towards the blue line. Matthews unable to get to it. Nice play by Zach Hyman in on goal, and that was stopped. The rebound played by Matthews back of the net. Hyman trying to barge out in front. Riley knocked him down. Puck back to the goal. Riley has it wedged up against the boards. Former Leaf Hyman working on it. Matthews got it freed up. Holmberg is able to get it out, and the Maple Leafs come to center. Marner in across the line. Stops up. Back in with a pass looking for Holmberg, but he couldn't redirect it to the front of the net. Then Matthews steals into the slot. Down low a shot. Big save by Skinner off Pontus Holmberg. Once again, Austin Matthews with his ability to steal pucks. Now the Oilers break it back in over the line. Ryan trying to get it into the corner. Hyman and McDavid are there, but the Leafs are able to push it free. Brought out again by Marner. Chipping it ahead for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi into the corner against Cody Ceci, and the Oilers get it around back of the net. Oakville's Evan Bouchard gets it to center and played down into the Toronto end. 9 players on the Oilers are Ontario boys. Here's Brown, one of them, a Toronto native, played it to the far side. Played a lot of hockey in the Toronto Marlborough organization, and a face-off coming as the puck has gone into the crowd. 1-0 Leafs on a goal from Austin Matthews. 27 seconds into the game from Marner and Holmberg, as Austin Matthews passes Ron Ellis with his 333rd Maple Leaf goal.
What a save by Stuart Skinner off of Pontus Holmberg. Great setup by Austin Matthews after the great steal, and Skinner had to go quickly right to left to make that stop. Out of the 10-game winning streaks, Skinner's on a 7-game winning streak on his own, and he's only given up 10 goals in his last 7 wins.
Domi waved out of the face-off circle. 1:38 left to play in the period. And the draw won by Edmonton. Near side, Ceci. Played down into the corner. Draisaitl curling out. Draisaitl being chased hard by Yarncrook. Now Domi gets into the mix as it comes back to the point to Darnell Nurse. Off a skate. Domi has it once more. And the Leafs, Giordano now circling back in his own zone. And the Leafs being pressured here as the puck goes around Liljegren trying to get it out and goes off the glove of Warren Foegele into the Toronto bench. So a face-off will come with 1:14 left to play in the period, again in the Toronto zone, where much of this first period has been played as the Leafs are outshot now 10-7.
They always make a lot about contracts being signed and everything else. A lot of eyebrows were raised in Edmonton when Leon Draisaitl was signed to an $8.5 million deal in 2017. He only scored 50 goals in 181 games in his career, but that's looking like a pretty good price tag right now, isn't it?
Sure is. Leafs play it down into Edmonton territory. Nurse turning with it. Hamilton native gets to center and shoots it in, and around the boards it'll come to the near side. Morgan Riley couldn't get it away from Draisaitl. A shot right on, a big rebound in front, and sprawling to block that is goaltender Martin Jones.
It was Vander Kane that had the great opportunity in the crease. Kane's numbers, maybe average for him, 14 goals, 25 points on the season. Zach Hyman, though, Joe.
What a season he's having.
On pace for 54 goals. Now, on one way you could say, you look at his career and you say, pretty good timing. You play in Toronto with Matthews and Marner, and then you go to Edmonton and play with Connor McDavid. But we've seen, since Hyman's left, that's not an easy role to fill. So you see now Matthew Nyes off that line. So Zach Hyman is the perfect complement to playing with skilled guys. You're seeing some skill out of Hyman this year as well.
McDavid out there for Edmonton. Draw goes into the corner. McDavid got knocked down. Hyman carries the puck around back of the net. Got it banked back to the blue line. Bounced towards the Leaf goal. It comes around to the near side. McDavid once more. Chased by Matthews. Back of the net it goes for Nugent Hopkins, who was bowled over. Puck to the side of the goal. Hyman got a whack at it, and the Leafs are able to poke the puck ahead. Hyman had a pretty good grab on Matthews. But, boy, the Leafs aren't getting any calls here. There's been about 4 or 5. Certainly Tavares has been the recipient of a lot, but nothing. The only power play has been with Edmonton. 4 seconds left in the period. Leafs against the boards with Benoit, and time runs out.
You're right. The Leafs 5-1 outshot the Edmonton Oilers early on when they built the 1-0 lead. But from that point, it was 11-2 Oilers. Even though maybe the best opportunity after that, Joe, was off the stick of Pontus Holmberg, where Skinner made the save of the period.
12-7 total shots, 1-0. The goal, Matthews 34th from Marner and Pontus Holmberg at 27 to the first period. We'll step aside. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado along with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm David Webb from SiriusXM Patriot. Join me from the iconic Red Arrow Diner in Manchester, New Hampshire, an essential stop for aspiring presidential candidates. Diners can enjoy a sandwich named after me, the Webb Witch, while I sit down and talk with candidates, voters, and get their thoughts about the New Hampshire primary and beyond.
David Webb, live from the Red Arrow Diner, starting Monday.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
with Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
In pursuit. Matthews curls in the far corner. Works it back now to Marner. Marner holds, sends it back to Matthews. He scores! 27 seconds into the game. Austin Matthews set up by Marner. And that will quiet things in the Rogers Center in Edmonton.
1-0 at that point. That's where we stand still after 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Hurry to your local Subaru dealer. Get more out of every kilometer this fall, including more karaoke. And so, Frankie C. and Jim Taddy here. 1-0, and it was really a great start by the Leafs. But I'm just thinking, Frankie C., the TSN turning point was the fourth line for the Leafs stuck out against the top line for Edmonton. A penalty is drawn. Power play didn't produce any goals, but the ice seemed to tilt a bit after that, didn't it?
There are a few different turning points for me. A lot of them have to do with Martin Jones and how well he played. And there's one instance on the power play where Leon Draisaitl gets a one-timer opportunity right in his office where he scored so many goals, but he hits the side of the net. But there was a number of times that Martin Jones made some great saves. And yes, I understand the fourth line gets caught on the ice against McDavid, and that's going to happen. They're playing on the road. You don't have last change. Sometimes you're going to be a victim of who you have on the ice. But Martin Jones played really good in that period. And if it wasn't for him, this period could have very easily been 2 or 3-1 for the Oilers.
Yeah, he stopped all 12. And I guess it's the aggressiveness that McDavid is playing with it. You know, you could understand the Leafs scoring. I think the bigger question is, how did Edmonton not score? And your answer is Martin Jones, but they really buzzed him, didn't they?
Well, you know what? McDavid was he just looks like a different player tonight. He's so engaged physically. There was one of his first shifts of the game. It was shortly after the goal gets scored by Austin Matthews. There's McDavid. He's out there with 2 big hits, and then he's competing on every puck. Like he's involved in everything right now, Connor McDavid. There's just a little more edge to his game than we normally see, and there's a few reasons why that is for me. Yes, he's playing against the Leafs. Yes, he's playing against Austin Matthews. But he's on the ice when Austin Matthews scores that first goal in the game. He doesn't want to get out-competed by Matthews. He doesn't want Matthews to get an edge on him. And 27 seconds into the game, it's Matthews who gets his 34th goal of the season, and McDavid's picking the puck out of his net. So there's going to be this back and forth with both of these guys in this game. It's going to be very entertaining. But Connor McDavid, no doubt about it, he has come to play, and he's going to compete as hard as he can in this game.
Well, and the odd thing is, it was 1-0. It could have been 3-0. Bertuzzi gets a deflection off the post that stays out by inches, and Morgan Riley had a nice shot that Skinner made a nice save on, so they had opportunity.
Yeah, that was a really nice play, and Bertuzzi's not able to bury it as he hits the post, but Max Domi did a nice job delaying, so that could allow Calle Jarnkrok to join into the play, and as that happens, Tyler Bertuzzi's driving the back post, and it's a nice play from Domi to Jarnkrok to Bertuzzi. All Bertuzzi has to do is deflect it into the net. He deflects it, it hits the post, and Stuart Skinner had a number of big saves in that period as well. He was really good, and a big reason why Toronto only has 1 goal in that period, but a pretty high-flying period. That's one of the fastest, high-paced periods that I've seen all season long. And you and I watch a lot of games, Jimmy, and there's a lot of times, whether we're doing a Leaf game or you're watching a game on your own, you sit there, you're like, did anything happen in that period? That was kind of slow. It was bogged down. Not the case there. That was 2 teams really hungry and really eager, and you could hear the crowd really engaged into the game. That's the NHL when it's at its best right there.
two of the best players in the world in Matthews and McDavid going head-to-head, the game within the game that comes with that. But you can see the teams not far behind there as everyone's playing with a little more pace, a little more jump in their step tonight.
Yeah, intensity is the word that comes to mind. And when you see top-flight players like that going at each other with that kind of intensity, and then you hear in the background the Oilers chant drowned out by the Go Leafs chant, I mean, that's a fun night, isn't it?
These are the kinds of games that you look forward to on the calendar because, the crowd is involved, the best players are going, and, if you're on the Leafs bench and you see Austin Matthews getting the best out of Connor McDavid, you're thinking, I want to be involved in that as well, and I want to be involved on that on the right side of the ledger, and everyone needs to get engaged into the game so they can bring something to the table, and I thought a lot of the Leafs did a good job. Like, here's the thing about playing against McDavid. You're going to be in your own zone. You're going to have to weather some kind of storm. You're going to be under duress whether you like it or not. He's just too good. He's too fast. He's too quick with the puck, and they make too many plays. And it's not just McDavid that does it. Zach Hyman had a really good opportunity where he knifed through Morgan Riley, and he was able to get in all alone. But that was another big save that Martin Jones made in that first period. So Edmonton is going to get their fair share of chances. Really what it comes down to is how well are you going to be able to defend them to make sure that they don't get more than what they generate of their own volition.
Well, just looking at the event summary, the Leafs had 7 shots on goal, another 6 attempts for 13 shot attempts. Edmonton had 27 shot attempts, 12 actually got through. And for the Leafs, Morgan Riley had 3 shots out of the 7, so they need more of an attack.
They do need more of an attack, and Martin Jones is going to be really busy. And I thought he looked exactly like he looked when he first came up, and it just seemed like he was making a lot of big saves, and that's the benefit of having a goaltender like that who's been around, who's a veteran player. He goes into a game like tonight knowing exactly what's on the line and knowing exactly what to expect. So Martin Jones, full credit to him for having a great first period, and the Leafs get out of that first period with a 1-0 lead, Jimmy. So now we're back in a familiar situation where they've grabbed a lead. How do they play with that lead? With 40 minutes left, they can't just sit back and play on their heels. They're going to need to find a way to have some kind of attack here, like you said. And if you can get one more, if you can get 2 more, how are you going to hold that lead? Because McDavid and Draisaitl and company, they're playing hard, and they are going to come at you wave after wave.
Yeah, just a few seconds left. The way this game is played in the first period, you just keep attacking. I don't see any other way to do it. How about you?
You have to play on your toes. You cannot sit back and play on your heels because this game, although it's 1-0 Leafs after 20 minutes, if you're going to sit on your heels, you'll be picking a lot of pucks out of the back of your net as this game goes on.
This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
People often ask me how fast I am. Oh, 1 sec. I just went to Bali and back. I'm also fast when it comes to helping people. Like when I helped Bill. His company vehicles were being serviced, and I was able to help him with a business loan. He got the transport trucks they needed, and I got to honk the horn. All of them.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now, starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Hi, Anthony Longo here. At Longo's, we're proud of what we offer our guests. That's why we sign every product we make with our family name. When you shop for staples like peanut butter and our all-new orange juice, you can save over 30% compared to other national brands. It's easy to save money without compromising quality when you switch to Longo's. I'm just glad we switched to printed labels. My wrist was getting very sore. For quality that meets your family standards, trust ours. Longo's.
1 in 2 people struggling with their mental health aren't getting the help they need. That's why for Bell Let's Talk Day, we're highlighting initiatives such as 988 Suicide Crisis Helpline. Anyone in Canada can call or text 988 24 hours a day if they are thinking of suicide or worried about someone they know. To find out more about 988 Suicide Crisis Helpline or to discover other resources that create real change in mental health every day, visit bell.ca/let's talk.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have. Chicago 1-0 over San Jose. That's in the second period. End of the second, Stars 2-1 over the Kings. End of the second, Jets 3-1 over the Islanders. End of the first, Coyotes and Flames are scoreless. And the rest are done. Avs 7-4 over the Senators. It was the Rangers 5-2 over the Kraken. And the Capitals 2-0 over the Ducks. In our game, it's 1-0 for the Leafs over the Oilers after 20 minutes of play. Oh, yes, guy, the second period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Jackson drops to throw, fires down the middle, it is caught! Touchdown, Ravens!
Sirius XM NFL Radio is getting you ready for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs.
Brock Purdy, this guy routinely makes ridiculous plays in the passing game. Look routine. He does it week in and week out.
Get closer to the game with interviews with coaches, players, and executives. Hear exclusive coverage of the divisional round on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland! Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best! What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream us on iHeartRadio, the TSN app, or on Apple CarPlay. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
Maple Leafs with a 1-0 lead on a goal by Austin Matthews. 27 seconds into the first period. Marner and Holmberg drawing the assist. Second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. And the face-off to start the second period is brought to you by Alpine Credits. Do you own your own home and need a loan? Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. November the 12th seems to be the dividing point in the season for the Edmonton Oilers. That's the day that Jay Woodcroft was fired and Chris Knobloch was sent in behind the bench, and the Oilers have gone off on a couple of winning streaks and are back into the playoff picture after just an incredibly bad start to their season.
Yeah, they did win I think it was the first 3 games they won after the coaching change, bringing in Chris Knobloch. Then they lost 3 more, and everybody thought, oh no, we haven't fixed the problem. But a little too much talent in that lineup and a little too much leadership.
Oilers bring it in over the line in the Leaf zone with a shot that goes high over top of the Leaf goal. Down into the corner, punching it along Warren Fogle. And it comes back to the blue line. Nurse gets it over to his defense partner. A shot by Cody Ceci goes wide of the net. And it is caromed off the dasher board and gone up into the screen and out of play. Leafs defending the goal to our left on your radio dial, and the Oilers are to the right.
You mentioned how often the Edmonton defense pinched in the first period. And I know you get a little more dangerous when you start trying to go up the middle, but that's something the Leafs might have to look at. Instead of keeping it, trying to force it up the boards, that little chipped open ice in the middle.
Word is it that the travel situation in Edmonton has been really bad. Big-time weather system going through and very cold temperatures, and the roads have been terrible from what we understand. But a lot of Leaf fans have made the zone. Tavares is cross-checked from behind by Nurse. And that up. Oh, yeah, a dive, says Nurse. A dive, says Nurse. Well, he can dive into the penalty box because he's getting a cross-checking call here. Oh, he's jumping.
I think the better response would have been you let it go in the first period. Why would you call it now? At any rate, the Leafs will go to their first power play opportunity of the game, brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Get more value out of every kilometer in a Subaru, starting with award-winning safety at your local Subaru dealer. Really, it was 2 pretty good cross-checks by Nurse into the lower back of John Tavares, and it was the second one that took Tavares down.
1:20 the time of the penalty. Oilers win the faceoff and send it down the ice.
Edmonton 3 for 4 in the penalty kill in Montreal, but 20 out of 21 they've killed off in their last 6.
Here's Marner to the line, in on the right side for Nylander. Swung around the boards. It goes to the half wall there to Tavares. He's engaged quickly as it comes back to the point. Riley to Nylander. Nylander trying to stretch it out. Top of the circle, right wing side with a shot. Down is Skinner. He stopped it on the short side and then sort of lost sight of it until it kind of appeared in the goal crease, and he was able to jump on it and hang on. And since that November 12th period, Skinner 16-4-0 with a 2.23 goals against average.
I think that's indicative as the team started to play better defensively. And I know this game for Martin Jones, he's given up more goals to Connor McDavid than any other player in the NHL. I think a few goalies could probably make that claim. Mm-hmm. This might be a game that Martin Jones needs to be more than just steady.
Puck back at center ice. Morgan Riley. Pass was knocked away. He has to go back to his own blue line. We'll try it again. Works to the right wing side. Nylander dropping it back. Marner now comes through neutral ice and into the zone. Left wing side now, and a pass back for Marner. And Skinner was able to get a glove on it as Marner was unable to redirect the shot from Tavares coming off the left wing. 1:02 left to play in the power play. And the faceoff is coming in the Edmonton zone.
But during the stretch, we're looking at the numbers up there now, that under the since the coaching change, 3.92 goals for per game. Amazing how everything gets better when you're winning, isn't it, those numbers? But it's really been the goals against that have been a huge turnaround. Obviously cost Jack Campbell his job in Edmonton, the rough start.
Leafs win the draw. Shot there by Nylander. Pad save made by Skinner. And it is launched out and down the ice again by Edmonton. 50 seconds left in the power play. Riley carries it out of his own zone. Works to center to Nylander. Nylander dropping it back for Matthews. First unit still out there. Left wing side, Tavares. Spun back to the blue line to Riley. Now to Nylander, closing with a shot. That was stopped. Tavares trying to get it in front of the net. And it's launched high and out and down the ice by Edmonton, forcing Morgan Riley back. Derek Ryan gave chase, but then peels to the bench for a change. Leafs will get their second unit on. Nylander still out there, though. Carries through center. He's in over the line on the right side for Yarncrook. Nylander back of the goal. Nylander against the wall. Reverses the puck for Domi in the near corner. Played back of the net then for Bertuzzi. Tried to get it out in front. Couldn't. Played off the boards and down the ice it goes. And that'll do it for the power play. The Leafs on the power play their last 6 games, 5 of 15. But 0 for 1 here this evening. Played down in Edmonton territory.
And 0 for 5 in the 3 losses coming into this one. And essentially, you consider the empty net goal.
Offside at the Toronto blue line with McDavid darting in on the right side.
But when you consider the fact the Leafs have lost 3 one-goal games in a row, taking away the empty net goal by Colorado. I mean, that's how important those specialty teams are. And one thing you like, though, John Tavares a little better at going to the front of the net for the screen. Actually, the one went off the inside of Tavares' ankle and then just off the left pad of Skinner. But you like that. You go back to the Anaheim game when the Leafs scored late in the power play. It was John Tavares standing right in front of the goaltender for a redirection, then a rebound.
Nurse sends it down into the Toronto zone. David Camp finds McCabe. McCabe down the right wing, banks it ahead. Into the Oilers zone it goes. Out of the goal, Skinner to play it into the corner. Yarncrook tried to catch the goaltender off the post, but it was back to the blue line now. Kept alive by the Maple Leafs. Chipped in back of the net for Gregor. Noah Gregor, wrap-around attempt. That was stopped by Skinner. Puck goes free now to Camp. David Camp back of the net centered. And a shot by Yarncrook went off a leg. Good shift here from the fourth line to keep the puck down in Edmonton territory. And the Oilers are going to get it out, and Nurse will play it to the line and in. Draisaitl pulls up and sends it back for Nurse. Nurse with a shot. Off a stick and off the glass, it went wide. McDavid still out there, too, as they load up one line here. And now the Leafs intercept and are able to get it to center ice. Camp is going to launch it high, in on goal, and a change of players coming for the Maple Leafs. Nurse with Brett Kulak, and Nurse is going to take it around back of the net. Got it ahead. Fogle hits the Leaf blue line, had it knocked away. Oilers are able to keep it alive, though. A centering pass. Good deflection there made by Liljegren, but not cleared. Now a shot deflected in front of the net. Kane down, and so is the glove of goaltender Martin Jones to cover up on the puck, and a faceoff coming in the Toronto zone as a result. 1-0 Toronto, a goal way back at the 27-second mark of the first period from Austin Matthews.
Period really turned on the power play, didn't it, for Edmonton? They seemed to, even though they didn't obviously score on the power play, carried that momentum through much to the remainder of the opening period. Martin Jones just looked sharp, fighting through Evander Kane to see a point shot and then eventually crawling the rebound.
Face-off controlled by the Maple Leafs. Banked out at center ice. Nyes couldn't get to it. For Matthew Nyes, this is sort of uncharted waters. Played his collegiate hockey. And then, this is game number 42 for the Maple Leafs. He's never played this much hockey certainly at this level, or even at the minor level, if you include that. Now here's a shot from the angle there by Tavares that was blocked, and it's going to clear to the line, but not out. Leafs are able to keep it in. And then a pass for Nyes went off his stick, and it's played out at center ice, and McCabe runs into Kane, and the Maple Leafs are able to break it out, but off a skate and stolen. A chance now, and a drive by Brown is deflected high on a sprawling play made by the Maple Leafs. Simon Benoit.
Well, Jake McCabe heading out of the Leaf zone, but the cross ice pass in his skates. That's just inside the Leaf blue line. So that bounces back the other way. So really it was Benoit's pass, a bad pass into the skates of McCabe that helped create the turnover. And then Connor Brown, who's still looking for his first goal of the season, walks in right alone on Martin Jones until Simon Benoit decides, I better be the first one over there after the giveaway.
Connor Brown, ACL injury last year, 4 games played for the Washington Capitals. A scramble in front of the Leaf goal is controlled by Marner, and he sends a lead pass ahead and over the line, and a rolling shot went wide of the goal by Holmberg. Kept alive by Matthews, but it's played back out and down into the Toronto end. Liljegren carried back of the goal, stops up, looks up ice, gets it ahead. Holmberg to Matthews, up on the left wing side for Brody, and his shot from an angle was deflected wide. Pontus Holmberg is able to keep it in deep. And Nurse goes back of the goal with 13:20 to play in the second period. Still 1-0 Toronto. And on the right side now, McDavid trying to make a move on Riley. Got a shot in on goal, and on the short side, covered up by Martin Jones and held for a face-off in the Toronto end. It is a 1-0 Toronto lead. And Simon Benoit, the goaltender's best friend. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drink.
Help with the wedding, but need to organize their finances. With a debt consolidation loan and my telekinesis, I help them consolidate their bills. I promise I won't crash the wedding, but I am free that weekend.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Leafs with a 1-0 lead on Austin Matthews' 34th goal of the season that came 27 seconds into the game.
Edmonton, during this 10-game winning streak, which is a franchise record, and you and I talked about it before we went on the air, that you would have thought with the Gretzky era, with Paul Coffey and Mark Messier and Yari Curry, Grant Fuhr and goal, they would have had a few 10-game winning streaks in the 80s.
No such luck. And a familiar face and good friend, Paul Coffey, back in the coaching business. Had a lot of time coaching in minor hockey in Toronto after his career ended. Leafs steal the puck and get a chance in on goal. David Kapp driving it in. They bang it to the line and in, but it's waved off. Now McMahon has got himself into a headlock here. Is that Kane? Yes.
Yeah, I think even if this crosses the line, I don't think it's going to count because you had 3 Leafs pitchforking at the goaltender Stuart Skinner to get the puck into the net. But David Kampf, I thought, made a pretty good move, trying to cut back and go the other way. But this was all David Kampf forcing the turnover at the blue line. But even Noah Gregor got drilled in the back from Bouchard. That's why he ended up in on top of the goaltender, and Skinner lost his mask immediately.
Boy, he made a good pad save with the right leg on Camp.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second huge save of this game. The first one was Skinner off Pontus Holmberg in the opening period. One-timer, came over quickly to take away the empty side.
So the face-off in the Edmonton zone, and the Leafs' fourth line has had a couple of real good shifts here in this second period. 12:45 to go in it.
Hey, I don't hate the fourth line when you start looking at hopefully getting into the postseason and what you expect out of them.
Well, they can all skate, and they're all physical. And if they will play better defensive. Now, they were on the ice for a couple of goals against Detroit, and that's one thing you just can't do. You can't give up goals against. Now, here's a chance for Holmberg to Matthews, and he let it go, and off the crossbar, and ends up going up into the screen. That's 13 posts that Matthews has hit this year.
Well, I think he's hit 2 in this game, hasn't he? I know the one Skinner got a piece of, but I think it might have gone off the crossbar earlier. And this was just the hand-eye coordination of Austin Matthews with his back to the Edmonton net, just inside the line. He knocked it down, but I think he did hit the crossbar in the first earlier in the period. Yeah.
Skinner got a blocking glove in front of this one. Marner trying to chip it to the line. Pontus Holmberg unable to help him out. Draisaitl with a nifty little elusive move to the blue line. Got around Matthews, then tried to send it in. Blocked by Marner. Leafs are going to launch it high down into Edmonton territory. Ceci going back after it, playing it around to Darnell Nurse. Nurse up against the boards, and Matthews steals. Now to Marner, left wing side, and a shot. Big save made by Skinner there off of Giordano, who was set up nicely by Marner. Benoit back in his own zone. Got it ahead on the wing for Giordano. Pass went off Marner's skate. Leafs are changing. Nurse will play it ahead, and it's going to go down into the Toronto zone, and an icing charge is coming against the Oilers with 11:45 to go in the second period. A better second period for the Maple Leafs. 18 shots apiece. Oilers have had 6, and the Leafs have had 11.
Darnell Nurse has been involved in a lot of the plays in this game that had his pocket picked by Austin Matthews, and it was Giordano that finally got the great attempt coming in off the left wing.
Draw one by Toronto. Shot by Giordano into the chest of Skinner. He is going to swallow that up and bring a face-off again in the Edmonton zone. Mark Giordano, no stranger to the Edmonton rivalry. He, of course, spent a lot of time just down the road in Calgary, and didn't matter where those two teams were in the standings. That was a major league battle every time. So he would be quite accustomed to this building and the city of Edmonton. Tavares lost this face-off. Back of the net goes Desharnais. And he'll play it on the backhand to the blue line. Brody got a piece of it, but it's cleared into Toronto territory. Tavares knocking it away. Brody circles back behind the net. Got it ahead for Tavares. Tavares goes cross ice to find Morgan Rielly. Rielly to the line and into Nylander. He'll curl at the blue line. Still with it, being hounded there. Got it in. A shot by Rielly was stopped. And the Oilers are going to punch it out and then make an errant pass that produces an icing.
You see the similarities between these two teams. Great speed coming out of your own zone, but very prone to turning the puck over. Any kind of forecheck, and we've seen that here with the Leafs and the Oilers in the second period, where the Leafs have been able to get in the forecheck and force some turnovers. We're nearing the midway mark of this game. It's only 1-0, but the shots are up there, 20-18, favoring the Leafs now.
Draw one by Edmonton. Bertuzzi chopped at it, got it out in front. The Oilers just launch it high to center ice, and McCabe settles it, sends it ahead. The pass was out of the reach of Yarncrook. Not enough for icing. Leafs are into the forecheck with Domi trying to barge to the net. Now Bertuzzi helps him out by getting it back to the blue line. Shot by McCabe is deflected wide. Bertuzzi curling out of the corner, and he misfired on a pass intended there for Domi, and that'll force Liljegren back into his own end. Liljegren's pass partially blocked. McCabe has time, got it ahead for Bertuzzi across the line. Couldn't get it in a little deeper to where Domi was waiting. Oilers have sent it back into the Leaf end. Back along the boards for McCabe. Chipped up ahead for Bertuzzi. Given to Domi. Domi, a rink-wide pass to the defenseman Liljegren, who will just get it in over the line. Bouchard for the Oilers. Up on the left wing and in across the line it comes. Trying to work in there was Hambin. He had it knocked away. Played into the corner. Fourth line on for the Oilers. Back a pass comes back from McLeod. Long shot off the glove of Jones, but went harmlessly into the corner. Now Tavares. Back of the net finding McCabe. Bank pass out at center. And it'll be Evan Bouchard taking it back into his own end. Bouchard to McLeod, Mississauga native, sends it down into the Toronto zone. Scooped along the boards by the Leaf netminder, but intercepted by the Oilers, only to give it away to Mitch Marner. Marner, stationary in his own zone, finds Benoit. Pass off the boards. Back it comes to Marner. Now with some momentum to center, he'll shoot it in. 9:20 to go in the period. Back of the net, it goes to Marner, centered in front. Oh, just out of the reach of Matthews, or he was in prime shooting position. Marner with a shot, blocked, rebound in front, jammed it, scores! Morgan Rielly coming in off the left wing, jams it home. But the point that you made on the first goal, Pontus Holmberg in front of the net provides a pretty good distraction, but the Leafs have a 2-0 lead.
Morgan Rielly, the offensive awareness to see some open ice. He gives it to Mitch Marner, Joe, and then takes off for the net from the left point. And eventually the puck finds him and he snaps it blocker side, short side on Skinner. And I'm not sure where the assists are going to be on this. I believe Marner and Matthews, Joe, are going to pick up the assists, but you're right. Pontus Holmberg, go to the front of the net. Create a little bit of chaos and let the skilled guys work around it. The Leafs are up 2 midway through the second.
3 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 games for Morgan Rielly. 7th goal of the season. Here's a chance now, and a shot scores coming off the wing, Zach Hyman. A quick answer from the Edmonton Oilers.
Zach Hyman comes in from the left wing side. Martin Jones goes down early. And this is, really a nothing play. But Hyman drags it around T.J. Brody and then takes it off the goal line. And Martin Jones goes down early, leaves that top part open, and Zach Hyman, why wouldn't he with the year he's having, flip it up and over the right shoulder under the crossbar. And Hyman with his 27th of the year as Edmonton. Well, the Oilers, I thought the Oilers kept it in, Joe, at the blue line. That's where the puck was turned over.
But a challenge here from the Maple Leafs that there was an offside. I was busy putting Rielly down on my score sheet, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was the puck had bounced to the line, and that's where Hyman ended up picking it up and eventually taking it to the net. Now, you would certainly hope from a Leaf standpoint they didn't give up on the play like they did on the goal against, they gave up against Colorado. We're going to get another look at it right here. Oh, boy, this is way offside. Or are they going to say that Hyman cleared the zone before he picked it up? The puck. Ooh, oh, no.
Oh, no. No.
This is offside.
No, this is definitely offside. So, Jordan Bean, that one was an easy one.
But you still got to get it in time.
Yes, you do. Video review waves off the goal.
And for the Oilers on a 10-game winning streak are probably saying this hasn't been happening.
You know what? And Zach Hyman had to know it was offside. For the celebration and everything else, I think he was trying to sell something that he knew probably was not going to stand up.
The Leafs got to know since that Colorado game, you play to the whistle. And that's exactly what Zach Hyman was doing.
So it is still 2-0 Toronto. Played around back of the net. Jarming in there is Evander Kane. Got it freed up for Fogle. Fogle around back of the net, looking for Kane in front. Goes back to the point. Nurse holds, cross ice, off the glove there of Benoit. And Benoit's going to get a chance to clear it once, twice. Now still up against the boards and still in the Leaf zone. Simon Benoit had 3 chances to clear the puck and did not get it out. Back to the point it goes. Edmonton now on the near side boards for Kane. That was off the side of the goal. Leafs against the wall in their own zone, having difficulty moving it out. And Kane can't keep it in this time, and it comes to center ice. That would have been a goal 12 seconds after the Leafs had taken the 2-0 lead. But the offside is registered. And the coach's challenge has been a very beneficial situation for Sheldon Keefe. I think that's 13 now that they have been in a row, that they have been rewarded with the call, if you will. Played down into the Toronto zone. Liljegren reverses the puck. McDavid couldn't get to it, but it comes back to the point, and a long shot is deflecting and going up into the screen out of play.
Well, they track that. Field goal kickers, consecutive kicks made. I'd like to see that little column for successful challenges.
Yes. Well, Jordan Bean has been on a roll, that's for sure. 2-0 Toronto. Matthews and Riley, the goal scorers. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
As Green Day returns with their long-awaited new album.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs 2 and the Edmonton Oilers, no score. Morgan Riley, along with Austin Matthews, the goal scorers. And we've talked a lot about this may be Morgan Riley's best season.
Well, that's now, with that goal, his 4th goal and 19 points in his last 20 games.
And he's had at least a point in now 15 games since December. Played up on the wing. Brody against the boards. Had it knocked down. The puck goes free to McDavid. Stolen back by the Leafs. Nyes needs to get it out, but doesn't. Played back into the corner. Nyes will get another opportunity. This time he launches it high. Nylander chasing after it, but will be beaten to the puck by Bouchard. Played up on the wing to center. Backhanded into the Oilers zone for Hyman. Hyman against the boards into the corner. Hyman getting it back to the point, and a one-timer taken there was deflected as Ekholm let it go. Puck into the corner boards now for Riley, unable to get to it. Falling in front of the net was Nyes, but the Oilers have the puck in the corner. Riley is able to poke it free, but it comes back to the blue line, but not out. Oilers keeping it alive. Here's Nugent Hopkins into the corner. Working down low now, leaving it for McDavid. A pass back in front, stopped and smothered. Bouchard then cross-checks. Nice, who looks up at the official. How do you think I ended up down here?
They've let a number of those go. I think he said, fine, as long as you call them both ways.
Bouchard then earlier had slashed the stick out of Nyes' hands.
And Nyes, but
wow. Well, I guess we should give credit where credit is due. Steve Kozan and Chris Lee are the referees. Ryan Gibbons and Trevor Toomey are the linesmen tonight. And Matthew Nyes just took a couple of pretty good calls that were non-calls. Oilers in the corner, getting it back to the blue line. Walking the line was Bouchard at the point of shot. Blockered away nicely there by Jones. Chipped up on the wing. Unable to get it out, though, was Holmberg. Pass into the slot area. Went right by Marner and then had to be scooped into the corner by the goalkeeper. Another shot is deflected wide of the net by Jones. Good pressure again from Edmonton. Nurse, a pass in front of the net. Partially blocked, stolen, no. Back into the corner for Liljegren. He'll get it now to Giordano. Giordano gets it out, but too much on it. And icing against Toronto with 5:45 to go in the second period. And the Leafs with a 2-0 lead. Edmonton now out shooting the Leafs 26-21. They've picked up the tempo here.
And really, it appears the more dangerous chances have been Toronto's. I think Stuart Skinner has made 3 or 4 spectacular saves. Martin Jones has been steady at the other end, and of course got the break with the goal being called back by Zach Hyman.
Draw one by Edmonton. Played into the corner. Matthews tried to scoop it away as it comes back to the point. Kept in there. Oilers into the corner now for Janmark. Janmark turns, banks it back to the point, but it's going to come out into neutral ice. It'll be slapped into the Leaf zone again. Chipped to the line and back out again. Oilers have to wait for teammates a little bit. There's a delayed offside in effect. And Liljegren lost the puck in his skates, then took down the Edmonton player. Could have been a hook there from Liljegren against McLeod. The puck along the boards. Domi doesn't get it out. Long shot. And Jones decides maybe we need a change of players and a little bit of time here to think about this. So he'll hang on and bring a face-off in the Leaf zone when we return. Matthews and Riley, the goal scorers. Holmberg with a pair of assists. The Leafs with a 2-0 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Trillium Health Partners, we're ready to see you, not just as a patient, but as a person. A person who needs innovative care with a human touch. A person with a life, with hopes, and with fears. At Trillium Health Partners, we'll see the whole you. Our nurses, our doctors, and our staff. Because when we care for the whole person, our whole community gets stronger. Trillium Health Partners, we see you. Learn more at weseeyou.ca.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
When you vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line, every day is a new day. Get a taste for Barcelona, then savor incredible dining back on board one day. Connect to ancient history in Athens, and then disconnect in our spa another day. Wherever the sea breeze takes you, come aboard and experience a different tomorrow with Norwegian. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA.
The rest of my life gonna start today.
The Leafs 2 and the Edmonton Oilers no score. Oilers on a 10-game winning streak, but as we talked about it, our good friend Harry Neal used to say, when you're on a winning streak, you sometimes win a couple of games that you probably had no business winning. And conversely, when you're on a losing streak, you probably lost a couple of games that you had no business losing before you break out of that.
Last game for Edmonton was a 2-1 overtime win in Montreal. The last 2 wins have come in overtime.
Nylander finds Tavares. He'll flip it deep into the Edmonton zone with 4:40 to play in the second period. McCabe works in over the line down the middle of the ice with a shot, and he wired it just wide of the goal. Tavares trying to get to it. Nylander unable to keep it in, and is brought to center ice now by The Oilers dropping it off on the left wing. Ekholm getting it back. And then a pass from Draisaitl. They backhand it and score. A backhand from in the corner or in maybe the face-off circle. We're going to have a look at this again, but this might have a bit of an odor to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping it went off something. As the Oilers win the battle from Willie Nylander on the boards right in front of the Leaf bench, and the Oilers come back the other way, and this looks like it goes straight in. Evan Bouchard found Nylander, and Martin Jones never seals off the post. And seems totally surprised by the shot, Joe. And you're right, that one has a bit of an odor, and you hope this is not going to be the TSN turning point.
21st goal of the season for Draisaitl. And this one does count. It's 2-1. Leafs coming through neutral ice. Holmberg overskated the puck, and the Oilers have it again in their own end. They get it up on the wing. Turnover. Brought back by Marner. Chipped in on the right wing side. Got around the check of Brett Kulak. Down into the corner is Matthews trying to dig it free for him. Marner hovering around outside, hoping a loose puck will come, and it does. He gets it back to the point. Brody walks the line. Played into the corner then for Matthews, a bit too far. Matthews is able to get it back to the net for Holmberg. Holmberg muscles his way into the far corner. Has it in the skate, stolen by Marner. Back to the point it comes. Riley will launch it in around back of the net. Matthews trying to come out from behind, and it rolled off the toe of his stick and went harmlessly wide. Leafs back at center ice. 3:16 in the period. 2-1 our score. And an offside called here as it'll come back into neutral ice.
And you like the response from the Matthews line. Right back into the Edmonton zone. And very nearly. Yeah, and, watching this again, there might have been a bit of a screen by Jake McCabe on the Draisaitl goal. But Martin Jones just is not expecting it. And you see there is absolutely no reaction to the little backhand flip by Leon Draisaitl. That is Draisaitl's 21st of the season. He's got 9 goals in his last 12 games.
46th point of the year for Leon Draisaitl. Played up ahead and deflected down into the Toronto zone. Giordano punching it around the wall. Got it handed back. Played it up on the wing. The Leafs don't get it out. Bouncing disc now to McMahon. McMahon will punch it ahead. Gregor played it ahead but took a bit of a hit there from Nurse. Leafs will play it back to center. Knocked by the Oilers to the near boards, but it's played down into the Edmonton end. Back of the goal is Matthias Ekholm to get it up on the wing. McDavid out there. Now Hyman in across the line. Dropping it back. Shot blocked by Benoit. Puck still in the Toronto zone. Glove pass, maybe. Nope. Played ahead into the corner. A centering feed then by McDavid. Back it comes to the point. Oilers hold. Work it down into the corner. Nope. It's Bouchard playing it back to the point. Gets it returned from McDavid. McDavid off a stick comes to the left wing side. Mirrored there by Gregor. Fourth line out here for Toronto. Centering pass. Cleared to the line and out off the stick of Noah Gregor. And the Leafs will try to get some of their compliment exchanged. Played in over the line. McCabe misses McDavid with a hit. McDavid reverses the puck for Hyman. In goes McCabe after it. He engages Hyman in the corner. The puck comes free. Back to the blue line. Near side for Nurse. Nurse with a shot. That was deflected just in front of the net and it went wide. Back to the blue line. Fed back in with 1:36 to go in the period. Leafs may have dodged a bit of a penalty try there as it's launched high to center ice off the glass and out of play. And the faceoff is going to come back in the Toronto zone.
Now, Leafs losing 3 straight coming into this one, but they've led in all 3 of those losses. And one number that's really got to change, and I guess it has changed to a certain extent because the Leafs grabbed the lead early on in this game. But the save percentage for the Toronto Maple Leafs when leading a game coming into this one, .889, which is 29th in the National Hockey League. So you look at a lot of blown leads, you can certainly see hasn't necessarily been because they've been giving up a lot of shots.
Played into the corner down in the Edmonton zone. Back of the net, Bertuzzi spun back to the blue line. Riley holds, gets a shot going. That was deflected wide of the net. Nylander coming out from behind the net. Tried to go top shelf and went over top of the goal. Pumped right back for Willie around back of the net, but he couldn't trap it. And it's going to be punched out and down into the Leaf zone. Riley is going to get there ahead of Fogle. And icing called against the Oilers as it'll come back. The Leafs in Calgary on Thursday night, and then all of the people in Vancouver will have their shorts in a knot because we're forcing them to come to a hockey game at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Vancouver when, of course, we realize is that the most important team in the National Hockey League is visiting their team, who just happens tonight to be in a position to take over first place overall in the NHL standings.
Who, Vancouver?
Yes.
Now, who complains to you about the start time?
Most people out there that I talk to. I think it's great.
Well, when it's an American broadcast and we got to do 8 o'clock games at home, I know we don't like them.
No.
Although I'd take the 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Over the 8, yes. A bouncing puck over top of the Oilers' goal. 40 seconds left in the period. Through center, shot in by Ekholm. Around back of the net into the corner for Liljegren. Tried to chip it ahead. Stolen. Draisaitl into the slot. Fanning on the shot. The Leafs with a final rush. 24 seconds left. Played off a skate. Brought in over the line by Matthews. Tried to work his way clear, but couldn't get around the defense. And the puck has gone high in the air. 14 seconds left. Back behind the Oiler goal. And it'll be brought out now for Edmonton. One last rush, long lead pass, bounces down into the zone. Wow, no icing there. Might have given the Leafs at least a face-off to work with, but it was waved off by the linesman Travis Toomey. But the horn goes to end the period. So after Matthews and Riley built a 2-0 lead, Draisaitl cuts it in half. It's 2-1 after 40 minutes. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
We're all better players for having Coach Belichick as our coach. And I think there was a level of accountability and discipline that he had that maybe we didn't always want to hear it, but in the end, when we reflect back, we're happy that we did hear it and that we went through it.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Hey, Toronto. I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Marner with a shot. Blocked. Rebound in front. Jabbed it. Scores! Morgan Rielly coming in off the left wing, jams it home. But the point that you made on the first goal, Pontus Holmberg in front of the net, provides a pretty good distraction. But the Leafs have a 2-0 lead.
2-1 now after 40 minutes of play. TSN after 40 delivered by 241 Pizza. It's 241 Tuesday. Order regularly priced pizza from the Create Your Own menu. Get the second pizza of the same size or lesser value free. Nice goal, Mo, and the celebration wasn't off the charts, Frankie C.
Maybe not his best celebration, Jimmy? He scored a lot of goals. He had 20 a couple of years back, so he's pretty used to it.
Yeah, and Hyman, who got called on the offside, that was a gorgeous goal, but it didn't count. But that was an interesting bit of stick handling in tight by him.
Yes, and that goal gets called back because it's offside. Zach Hyman touching that puck before his feet are able to clear and get outside the blue line. But that is some nifty stick work by Zach Hyman. And that happened quickly after the Morgan Rielly goal. So that one ends up coming back. And then it's Leon Draisaitl who gets his 21st of the season. And Martin Jones is not able to get back to his post. He's off his post. I don't know what you call that. There's the reverse VH is something different. We know what the butterfly is. Is that the Ralphie VH? I don't know. The Kalamazoo shuffle. I'm not sure exactly what you call that maneuvering in the net.
Well, obviously it wasn't a round trip because he didn't get to the post. I don't know. I don't think I can recall ever seeing it's like he stopped and of course the sniper that Draisaitl is, he just picked it.
Well, and Leon Draisaitl's just sending an innocent backhand to the net at that point. But Morgan Rielly's goal was a good offensive zone sequence for the Leafs because Rielly, as he pinches in off the point, he catches Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman is going out towards Rielly. Rielly waits for him to absorb him, and Rielly blows right past him, and he beats Zach Hyman to the net. So a nice play by Rielly, and Ralphie pointed it out on the broadcast that Pontus Holmberg is in front of the net. So Holmberg has 2 assists now throughout this game, one on the Austin Matthews goal. He started that play by chipping it in, and Mitch Marner got to the puck, and actually it was Matthews who got to the puck first, and then Mitch Marner and Matthews had the give and go, and Pontus Holmberg involved in this play as well, doing a good job getting an assist and getting involved in front of the net. And for a guy that we talked about before the game, Jimmy, who gets an opportunity, a really good opportunity to play with 2 really good players in Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, he's made the most of it so far. And another aspect about that is Matthews and Marner are going to get a lot of shifts and a lot of reps with Morgan Rielly. There's a lot of D coaches and coaches that like to match up the first D pair with the first the first line of forwards. So there's another opportunity for you to get involved in the offensive play with Morgan Rielly, and Pontus Holmberg is making the most of it.
Well, look, I want to go a little deeper on Holmberg. I don't know exactly where this goes. It's been positive since he's rejoined the team, and especially since he's been playing with Matthews and tonight Marner and other games it might have been Nylander. But again, I don't know where it goes. But I think if you were to describe him in training camp, you would have said possible third line center, but no stick. Well, forget about the no stick. He knows how to play this game. So there's a lot more to this guy than we were led to believe, or than he would have been typecast even months ago.
Yeah, himself, I don't see him as having a lot of offensive upside to drive a line on the third line and be the third line center. I don't think there's any more offensive upside to Holmberg than you would get with David Kampf in that situation. But because he's versatile and he can play the wing, you put him with some pretty good players and you get the results that you're getting tonight. So while I don't believe, Jimmy, that as an individual, he's going to drive offense himself. You put him in a situation where he provides a different kind of element to that line, and you see the results you get. And there was another sequence in that second period where Mark Giordano gets a great opportunity off a nice feed from Mitch Marner in the middle of the ice. Pontus Holmberg is in on the forecheck on that play as well. So his job is pretty simple. It's forecheck, try and come up with loose pucks and see if you can help facilitate some kind of offense, and check marks to all of those because he's done a good job so far in this game.
I'm going to throw a couple of names at you, and just because these are the guys that, in my opinion, the Leafs need to keep, and I hope they stay here for a while, just because they sort of start out as working class players, and I don't know where they go over a course of 2 to 3 years, but I don't think they're going to stay at the level they are. I think they're going to be better, which is quite a compliment actually. Gregor and Benoit. Benoit made that bad pass to McCabe, and he's the first guy over. When you see the guy correct his mistake in the play in real time, you go, now that's a guy you want around.
It shows you that he cares, Jimmy. Like that's what it says to me. It's like, I'm holding myself accountable because I made a bad pass and I realized that I was the one who messed up on that play. I better get over there and clean up that mess. And that's exactly the kind of urgency that Simon Benoit displayed on that example. And he's different than a lot of the defensemen and a lot of the players, for that matter, that the Leafs have had over the past few years, where, it's the guys that are really focused on the clean zone exit type player. The guy he's a pretty good skater, but he's kind of vanilla. There's no like edge or grit to his game. This guy's the complete opposite. He lumbers his way around the ice. You watch him with the puck, you're like, well, there's nothing really smooth or crisp about that, but he gets the job done. He'll block shots. He'll play physical. So he does a lot of that kind of grunt work that maybe some of the players in the past, that didn't come so easy to them, and they were a little more smooth and skilled. But it's nice to have that kind of element where a guy is going to have a gritty night more often than not. It's a much-needed thing on the back end. And for Noah Gregor, there's a guy who's league minimum type salary player who skates really fast, who can get in on the forecheck, who's shown some scoring opportunities off the rush this season and made the most of that. He's got a really good shot. So I agree. If you can have those guys at decent salary caps, they provide something to your lineup that you didn't necessarily have in the past.
A couple seconds left. What do you see happening in the third?
Well, the Leafs need to hold on to a lead, Jimmy. Like, they've put themselves in a very familiar situation here, and credit to them, because here they are, 20 minutes left to play. You have a lead against the Edmonton Oilers. The first line for Edmonton was a little quiet in that second period. I would expect them to have a bigger push here in the third period. Now the Leafs need to find a way to not sit on their heels, maybe go get the next one, maybe make it 3-1 and then hold on to a lead from there. Martin Jones is going to have to make some saves as well.
Leafs up 2-1. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
Let's get jerseys. Let's get jerseys.
Right now, become a Tangerine client with a savings account, and you could get a free Raptors jersey.
We want jerseys.
Finally, a savings account worth cheering for.
Jerseys. Jerseys.
Find out how to score a jersey at tangerine.ca/Raptors. Tangerine. That's forward banking. Available to new clients who open and fund an eligible account while supplies last. Conditions apply.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, it's just me helping the city with my super strength. And help is what we did for Dave and Keith. They wanted a new living room, and we're approved for a home renovation loan. I'm invited to their next potluck, and I'm bringing my famous hero dip. I basically just melt a jar of cheese with my super heat vision.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Hi, Anthony Longo here.
At Longo's, we're always looking to help you save. So we're proud to announce the Longo's semi-annual buy one, get one free event is back until January 17th. When you buy specially selected items, the second one is on us. Now you can feed the whole family for half the price. Or one really hungry teenager. So switch to Longo's, because nothing says your family more than giving you a little extra. Check out our flyer in-store or at longos.com. For quality that meets your family standards, trust ours. Longo's.
Welcome, families. This is your Viamone pre-boarding invitation to a first-class and free French education. The Viamone French Language School Board is proud to be awarded the highest success rate in the most recent provincial tests. Your elementary open house boarding is on now. So please visit csviamone.ca to select your first class tour. Welcome aboard. Conseil scolaire Viamone.
Sarah used to let things get to her. Like the news. Or the fake news. The new girl at work. Her old boyfriend's new girlfriend. All that changed when she traveled south with Air Transat.
It's the Comeback Change promo. Book now and get up to 20% off on flights down south. Visit airtransat.com. Conditions apply.
Air Transat. Travel moves us.
This is the sound of medicine. When you stay at a Ronald McDonald House, close to your sick child, family is medicine. And right now, it's helping Ryan battle leukemia. We need your help to keep families together. Please donate today at rmhc.ca.
The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. Guy, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Two other games still active in the third period. Sharks and Chicago tied at 1. End of the second period. Coyotes 1-0 over Calgary. The rest are done. Avs got by the Senators 7-4. Rangers defeated Seattle 5-2. Washington shut out Anaheim 2-0. It was the Stars 5-1 over the Kings and the Jets 4-2 over the Islanders. 2-1 Leafs in our game. The third period is next on Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
NFL divisional playoff matchups are set. Sirius XM NFL Radio is analyzing the victories yesterday by the Tampa Bay Bucs and Buffalo Bills with a look at all the games this coming weekend, plus the latest with the head coach and front office carousel. NFL Radio, Sirius XM Channel 88, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine, bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois, bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg, with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows in your car. Available on Apple CarPlay via the iHeartRadio app. TSN 1050. Everywhere you want it.
Maple Leafs with a 1-goal lead to carry into the third period, and they are trying to end a streak of having leads and having them evaporate on them. So we will see how this pays out as they start this 4-game Western road trip with stops in Calgary, Vancouver, and Seattle yet to come.
And the Edmonton Oilers, when trailing after 2 periods of play, have come back 5 times in the 16 times they've trailed after 2 periods to win games. So for the Leafs, I mean, what a perfect opportunity to get rolling in the other direction and being able to protect the lead against the high-scoring Edmonton Oilers. So the good news is, get a lead into the third period, and that's also been the bad news the last 4 or 5 games. Most recently, the 2-1 lead over the Red Wings into the third period, gave up 2 in the third for the loss, to a 3-goal lead against Colorado the game before, a 2-goal lead against the Islanders the game before that.
Leafs to the right, Oilers to the left. Puck dropped, and it is controlled now by the Leafs and played ahead and swatted by Holmberg down into the Edmonton zone. Riley unable to keep it in. This will force the puck back into the Toronto zone. No icing. Taken around back of the net, pushed up on the wing by Brody. The Leafs don't get it out initially, but now Marner is able to kick it and then roll it down into Edmonton territory. Cody Ceci goes around back of the net, got it up on the wing to center. Played up on the near side. One of the Oilers got knocked down. The puck goes free now to McCabe. He'll get it ahead. Holmberg gets it out. Leafs are in the midst of a change. So are the Oilers. So Bouchard takes his time coming to center and then plays it around the boards into the Leaf end. Liljegren, or at least McCabe, getting it up on the wing. And Yarncrook got it through center. Only Nylander couldn't catch up to it. McCabe banks it ahead. Rink wide pass now for Benoit. Drop pass for Yarncrook. Tried to get a slap shot away. That was partially deflected and slowed up, and it gave Stuart Skinner a little bit of a tough time. Played back down into the corner and around back of the net. Yarncrook for Liljegren, centered in front of the net. It's going to come back to the point shot. Blockered away by Skinner, onto the stick of Nylander, and he's unable to find Liljegren as it comes to center ice. Giordano for Liljegren. Long lead pass going astray, and icing is going to be the call. Liljegren, I think, felt that Bertuzzi was going to be able to maybe work his way in there, but that did not happen.
Bertuzzi kind of had to straddle the line and wait for the puck to get past him, or he would have been offside, so the whistle still would have been forthcoming in the face-off back of the Leaf zone.
Shot from the point, rolls in front of the Leaf goal. Nyes quickly gets it up, and out at center ice comes Tavares. He'll backhand into the left wing corner. Nyes in there with a hit. Bertuzzi unable to get to it, and it's back out at center ice. So a different unit here for the Maple Leafs as Bertuzzi out with Nyes and Tavares as the shot goes high and wide of the goal by Derek Ryan. And now Nyes coming through center and across the line. Dropping it off, and a shot by Domi was deflected wide of the net. Domi sends it in front of the goal, and unable to get his stick on it was Nyes. Back at center now for the Oilers. Drop pass onto the left wing side. Goes down around back of the net. Centering pass in front. They score. Derek Ryan in front of the net. Wasted little time on a centering pass. And this game is tied 2-2. And the Leafs 2-0 lead is evaporated.
TJ Brody, the closest to Ryan, but very poor coverage. Morgan Riley left Ryan to chase behind the net, and TJ Brody was late picking him up. And the third line for the Oilers, as it was Ryan McLeod that made the nice play, went behind the net, looked out front, and saw Derek Ryan wide open, and Ryan has tied the game at 2.
So once again, the Leafs have found a way to have a lead evaporate. And we get an offside at the blue line. It'll come back. Blown leads. Columbus 19. The Blackhawks 17. Ottawa 13. Islanders 13. And now the Maple Leafs with 12 coming into this game.
That is not in a category you want to be the top of the list, though. I mean, just very poor coverage. You give the third line credit for the Edmonton Oilers, and for Ryan Joe, that's his first in 14 games.
It comes at 2:25. And Ryan will tie the game at 2s. McLeod gets the assist on the goal. And it is a 2-2 tie. Played around back of the net. Janmark getting the other assist on the goal. Puck in the Toronto zone. Played out at center, and now Gregor clips it in, goes in after it. Takes Nurse to the boards, able to come away with the loose puck, cycles it back in for Matthews. Matthews sticks with it, got it back to the net for Pontus Holmberg. Off a skate, it comes out in front. Stolen now. Marner unable to get a shot away. Works into the slot, still with it. Now sends it towards the net. Block, rebound by Holmberg. Tip wide. Holmberg was able to one-hand it out to the side of the net, but no one there. And here are the Oilers' Draisaitl coming in on the left wing. Kane with a backhand that went wide of the goal. Taken to the boards. The Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Long shot goes wide of the goal. And Holmberg now trying to make a play, playing it out at center for Marner. Marner lost the handle on it. Back come the Oilers, but Draisaitl has to wait, get onside. And a long shot goes wide of the net from Cody Ceci. Played into the corner. Centering pass. Intercepted by Morgan Riley. Riley straight up ice to center. Right wing's played for Nylander. Shot hit the side of the goal. Tavares played it around the boards. Yarncrook is there. Back in front of the net. Riley turns. Can't deliver a shot to the goal. Sends it off now to Nylander. Nylander back to the point. Gets it returned. Fanned on a pass. Riley trying to help him out, but it is brought by Ceci to center ice. And the Oilers will bring it in over the line with Hyman. Hyman getting it down into the corner. Ridden off the play there by Riley. And Nylander gets it ahead at center for Tavares. Tavares stops up, playing it back, trying to get a change going. Brody back now with the McDavid line out there against Toronto. Long bank pass ahead for Bertuzzi doesn't work. Brought back in now by the Oilers. Hyman for McDavid. Into the corner. Stood up there by Brody. Banked ahead. Chipped to the blue line. And out. And down to the Oiler blue line it goes. Leafs get it again at their own blue line. Nice play by McCabe to free it up. Then tried to find Bertuzzi, but that was knocked away. Oilers back in with McDavid. Dropping it back. Hyman had it knocked away from him. Leafs get it out. Hyman intercepts again. Bertuzzi takes it away from him, and Domi will lift it deeper into Edmonton territory. 14 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the third period, and the Leafs and Oilers are deadlocked at 2s. Giordano back of the Toronto goal. Hands it off to Noah Gregor, who is over the boards. The Leafs completing their change, so Giordano goes around back of the net. Now to David Camp. Up ahead for McMahon. McMahon going wide on the left wing. Into the corner. Round back of the net. Tried to jam it out in front of the goal. Taken to safety, though, by Janmark. And played on the boards to center. And Ryan, they'll get it out into the neutral zone. And the Oilers with a lead pass. Intercepted by Toronto and fed back. McMahon across the line. Flips it into the far corner. Both teams trying to get another change started as Marner is over the boards for Toronto. Leafs have it under control in their own zone. Rink wide for Benoit. Simon Benoit getting it down into the offensive zone for Hallmark. Back of the net it goes. Far corner for Matthews. Back for Holmberg. That didn't connect. Benoit is able to keep it in momentarily. But now Draisaitl is played to an open wing, forcing it down into the Toronto zone. Hustling after it was Evander Kane, but he lost an edge and fell, and the Leafs have it under control in their own zone. And then Kane wiped out Matthews. That looked like it might be a little bit of a late hit or interference, if nothing else. Didn't really get a good look at it. The camera kind of moved away from it. Now here's Brody working on the far boards, far half wall, stops, back pass, back of the net. Unable to get it in front of the net was Holmberg. Now Tavares works it back towards the blue line. Riley, far side, Brody closing in with a shot, and that was blockered away nicely by Stuart Skinner. Kept in at the point, though, by the Leafs. Fed around the boards to the near side, and Ceci will try to get it out, and he does, getting it to center. The Leafs 2 and the Edmonton Oilers 2. Pass up on the wing for Brody. Tried to find Yarncrook driving the net. Goes around back of the net. Stolen by Nylander. Backhanded in front of the net. And where the backhand of Draisaitl found the goal, this one was stopped by Skinner on a very similar play. Nylander playing it back deep into the Oilers zone. 11:40 to go in the third period. Game tied 2-2. Brought to center ice by Connor Brown. Brown trying to play it in front of the net. Intercepted by the Leafs. Launched high, out and down the ice. Will it have enough for icing? No, says the linesman. Oilers back at center. Turn the puck over at the Toronto blue line. Bertuzzi launches it back deep into Edmonton territory. Skinner playing it to his defenseman on the far side. It's just punched out at center ice. And Benoit is there for the Maple Leafs, who will play it ahead on the left wing for Bertuzzi. He got it down into the zone, but mishandled the pass when he might have had a bit of a break going in on the left wing. Out at center ice, intercepted by Morgan Riley. Launched far side, whacked at by Bertuzzi. Into the zone it goes. Matthews in there looking to try and steal the puck away from Bouchard. Getting some help now from Marner. Near corner now for Holmberg. Back for Matthews. Matthews laid it back into the corner. Holmberg unable to get to it. Cleared to the line, not out. Marner keeping it in with a shot. And that went high over top of the goal. Rebound goes back down into the corner. 10:25. Hadn't been a whistle in a while here. Brought out by Bouchard. Evan Bouchard hits the line. Works to the far boards. Still with it. Sends it towards the net. That deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Brody trying to play it out. Had it hit a skate. And the Leafs are going to get it freed up, but not out. Kept alive now by McDavid. Back to the blue line, just outside. That would be an offside, and that should be a deliberate offside. And maybe it won't be. I think it's just going to be faced off in front of the Leaf bench. But the Edmonton Oilers on a goal from Ryan, McLeod, and Janmark getting the assist. And it is tied at 2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
That will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Leafs 2 and the Edmonton Oilers 2. Third period halfway through. 9:57 left to go in it. The goal scorers have been Matthews and Riley for Toronto, Draisaitl and Ryan for the Edmonton Oilers.
I think the big thing you worry about right now is somebody is yet to hit the score sheet. The Edmonton Oilers.
Played on the left wing side. Benoit ahead for Nylander. Launched in on the left wing. Tavares goes in there after it. And the Oilers are going to get it out on the left wing side, and it's brought to the line and in. Ryan goes to the front of the net as the puck comes back to the point. Shot goes off a leg wide into the near corner. Dug out there by Janmark. Knocked away by Benoit. Benoit gets a body positioning then, was knocked down on the play. The Leafs were able to force it to the line, but Tavares couldn't get it out. Then a shot. Good save made by Jones through a screen. Calle Järnkrok round back of the net for the veteran. And Mark Giordano will settle things down. Got it ahead. Benoit had it come back from Matthews. Matthews around back of the net for Giordano. Up ahead for Marner. Marner for Matthews. Matthews trying to get in around Draisaitl. Had the high stick come up and clip him on the helmet and no call. And the puck goes down to the Leaf blue line.
It was accidental, but I don't know how you missed that. Matthews' helmet was up about a foot off his head.
Brought out by Liljegren. Liljegren to the line. Got it in for Holmberg, but it was just out of his reach. Holmberg trying to tie up his man. Marner is able to fish the puck free. Comes up with a pass in front. Matthews couldn't redirect it. Kept alive at the blue line by Liljegren. Played around the boards. It'll go to the right wing side. And it is Kane starting away on the left wing. Evander Kane driving the net. And the backhand off his stick rolled wide of the goal. Good rush, though, by Kane. McCabe, rink wide. Camp darts in on the right side. A similar play. Got it to the net. The jam at it. And down is Skinner to cover up on it.
Boy, that's the second time in this game David Kampf has taken the puck to the net. An opportunity before Marner to Matthews. I think it was Stuart Skinner, Joe, that got his stick on it before Matthews could tap it into the empty net.
Game tied 2-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Maple Toyota knows you love sports and trucks, which is why they have great vehicles in stock to carry your team, your game day gear, and to get you through winter. Like the Tundra, 4Runner, Highlander, and Grand Highlander. Plus, now through January 31st, when you purchase any new in-stock short box Toyota Tundra, you'll score big with a free genuine Toyota tri-fold hard tonneau cover or running boards. Your choice. Make it easy. Make it Maple. Maple Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
Not all self-care is created equal. A quick bite, a guilty pleasure, a second to ourselves. Discover a different kind of self-care at Thermea Spa Village Whitby. A world of restorative Nordic rituals awaits. Drift weightlessly in the Kala pool. Indulge your senses with an Aufguss performance and savor an authentic gourmet dining experience. Prioritize your own wellness. Take good care. Book your visit today at thermea.com/Whitby.
Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph back here.
We didn't see the officials having a conversation with Austin Matthews during the break, and I would love to know what that conversation was.
How's your head?
Yeah, it was
How you feeling?
Clearly a high stick. And
Boy,
usually those are pretty easy to call.
Yeah, a lot of other stars in this league seem to get protected a little more than Austin Matthews does, in my humble estimation. Oilers control the puck in their own end. Derek Ryan launching it high to center ice, stolen back by Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi with a pass then from Järnkrok, got it down into the zone. Along the boards, Domi trying to push it back in deep, but the Oilers are able to get it and are launching it out at center ice. Off the boards, Yarncrook steers it back into his own zone for Morgan Rielly. Rielly will get it ahead, off the stick of Bertuzzi. And icing is going to be called here. I guess Bertuzzi did not touch it. 27-25 are the shots favoring Edmonton. And this game is tied 2-2. We're back with you on Thursday night, 9 o'clock start, as Brad Treliving makes his return to Calgary, where the Flames will host the Maple Leafs on Thursday.
Ever been a video tribute for... I'm sure there has...
Why wouldn't there be? Yeah.
No, I don't remember the Leafs ever doing one.
No. Bouchard playing it down into the corner. McDavid got it out in front of the net. Stolen by Yarncrook, but not cleared. Bouchard at the point, keeping it in. McDavid twisting and turning on the far side. Got it back to the point. Bouchard steps in. Had it knocked away, though, by Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi's going to get it elevated off the glass and out, despite some of the Oilers trying to convince him that it was straight into the crowd.
There is going to be a discussion with the officials, so they're all on the same page on this.
Linesman was rather vociferous in his...
There wasn't a tribute for Kyle Dubas when Pittsburgh came back, was there?
I don't believe so, no. No. I don't know. Even when Brian Burt came back, I don't think there was anything like that.
Well, no, that's why I asked. I don't know if I've ever recalled seeing.
No, I think it's just the players. Pass back to the point. Bouchard keeps it in. Shot it off the stick of Matthews. Marner launches it high. That bounds down into the zone. Holmberg couldn't trap it. Nurse gets it ahead, and it's in over the line for McDavid. The two big boys are out there against one another as the Oilers have it down in the Leaf end. Back to the point it goes. Bouchard walks the line, drops it off. McDavid in the slot with a shot. Steered wide of the net by Jones. Big hit there by McCabe as he thundered Hyman to the boards. And the Maple Leafs start away with Pontus Holmberg getting it to center. Holmberg in across the line, tried to drag it in. Still free, and it's cleared by the Oilers to center ice. Nylander, far side. Pass broken up. Played in over the line now for Ryan. Derek Ryan of the Oilers. 6 minutes left to play in the third period. Pass ahead from Nylander to Tavares. Tavares to the line. Flips in for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi going wide around back of the net. Centered. Willie got a shot away, and it was wide. The rebound. Tavares trying to chip it out in front. Had it blocked. Oilers will get it out at center ice. What a hit there from McCabe. He really stepped into that Oiler player. As around the boards it comes up on the left wing side. Liljegren trying to freeze his man, and he does a nice job there, taking Evander Kane off the puck. Around back of the net. Oilers trying to free it up. Got it back to the point. One-timer coming. Blockered away nicely there by Jones. The Leafs get the puck out at center, and Yarncrook will free it up. And now Tavares able to skate to center and send it down into Oiler territory. 5:12 to play. Played down into the Toronto blue line area. Benoit, the defense partner. McCabe banks it ahead. Here's Gregor in across the line. Flipped into the corner for Camp. Camp trying to curl out. Cycles it back down low. Grabbed and tripped. Play goes on. Back of the net for Camp again. Trying to work out in front. Camp has it knocked away. Gets it to Noah Gregor in the near corner. Back to the point. Benoit can't shoot it at the net. Gives it back to Gregor. Gregor curling in the near corner. Being tied up there. The puck still free. McMahon in trying to help out. Stick got knocked away. Gregor has to go and get it. Now here's McMahon sending a shot to the net. That went wide of the goal. 4:24 left to play in the third. Oilers come back at center. Fogle dropping it off to the defense. Brought on by Cody Ceci. Long shot deflected wide of the net by the Leaf netminder, and the Leafs get it out. Here's McDavid winding up at center. Trying to get in over the line on the right wing side against Benoit. Shot, blocker save made by Jones. Back to the blue line it comes. Ceci on the right wing boards. Trying to scoop it in. Grabbed off by Hyman. Hyman holds, sends it towards the net. That was deflected wide. Leafs get it away, and they're going to get it to the line, but not out. Ceci goes D to D. Cleared back into the corner. Morgan Riley in there against Nugent Hopkins. It comes free to Marner. Marner to Benoit. Benoit to Riley. And Riley will play it off the glass and out and down the ice. But an icing call coming with 3 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in the period.
Again, the Leafs' inability to make that little 5-foot pass to get it out. A little bit earlier, and it was right before the big hit, Benoit and Hyman. Marner got taken down. Now we've also saw a slash where Edmonton player had his stick broken in half. There was no call on that either.
Big hit by McCabe on Hyman, though, wasn't it?
Well, at least the puck was there. You could see Mitch Marner was trying to draw a penalty. By the way, Simon Benoit has been out for a minute 41, and he'll have to stay out for this icing.
Won by the Oilers. They get it in front of the Leaf goal, and it's going to be grabbed by Riley, but he can't do much with it. Good pressure here from Edmonton. They get it to the blue line, but not out. Back in along the boards. Riley trying to pin McDavid. Took McDavid to the ice. It comes back to the point. Trapped there by Cody Ceci. Ceci with traffic in front. Bouncing puck goes wide. Now here's coming out in front with a shot. They score! McLeod comes out from behind the net. And the Leafs were a tired group because of the icing, and with 3:05 left to play, the lead not only has evaporated, they are now trailing in the game.
Ryan McLeod had the setup for the tying goal for Derek Ryan and scores here. And this is a little bit similar to the goal that Zach Hyman scored that was called back. As Martin Jones goes down, McLeod finds a little room to manipulate to the circle to the left, and a little bit of traffic in front was their goaltender interference. McDavid was in the blue paint. And I don't know if the Leafs do you challenge at this point.
You might almost have to. I mean, there was no question that Jones never saw it, and there's no motion from the Leaf bench. They're just taking the face off at center ice.
And McDavid on the ice for this goal, but Leafs blow a lead, and it's Ryan McLeod and Derek Ryan that have the big goals.
16:55, the time of the goal. And McLeod gets his 8th of the season. Didn't play the other night as it's flipped down into the Oilers zone. Leafs down there after it. Played up on the wing. Kept alive by Toronto. And at the point, Nylander doesn't shoot it. Then when he tried to make a pass, it was deflected by Draisaitl and has gone into the crowd and out of play. I don't think Martin Jones ever saw it. I mean, he went down and McDavid was right on the doorstep. So it's 3-2 Edmonton. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Radio Andy.
Hey, this is Andy Cohen, host of Andy Cohen Live on Radio Andy, here to tell you about the brand new SiriusXM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all the latest episodes, and more. Just search Andy Cohen in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all your SiriusXM favorites and new discoveries to your library.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to an.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
13th blown lead the Leafs have had. McLeod comes out from behind the net unmarked and snaps it into the far corner over the shoulder of Martin Jones, and the Leafs are going with 6 attackers. In around it, comes in front of the net as it comes to the left wing side. Into the corner for Marner. Marner trying to work it back along the boards. And now Nylander to the far side. A shot coming, deflects now right to Marner, and he failed to get it on his stick enough time to get a shot away, and then Nylander can't keep the puck in. Matthews takes the pass from him. Matthews starting out of his own end. Got it ahead on the right wing side, and Marner in over the line. Tried to flip it towards the net. Tavares late getting there. It comes to the line. Kept in by Morgan Riley to Nylander. Shot coming. That deflected onto the stick of Marner. Back to the point. It goes to Riley. Over to Nylander. Down low to Marner. A pass in front blocked. Shot out towards an empty net. Not going to have enough to go, or will it? It does. Morgan Riley gave chase, but was about an eighth of a second too late. And an empty net goal is going to ice this one. And the Edmonton Oilers, who have struggled against the Maple Leafs over the years, Leafs come in 16-3-2 since Austin Matthews and company were here. But this time, another blown lead. A 2-0 Toronto lead evaporates. And the Oilers will win this one.
What happens is, Joe, as teams are well aware when you play them what your history is. So you know when the Leafs got up 2-0 on Edmonton, Edmonton's saying, get one, and watch them wilt. And that's exactly what's happened.
Well, there is going to be some heat attached to a lot of facets of this franchise.
When you start looking
over the next little while,
start looking at a playoff spot as opposed to first place or home ice.
They could be out of a playoff spot by the end of this road trip if things don't get turned around. Played out into the center ice area. Oilers will flip it right back in again, and this one is going down into the books in another minute. Brought out at center ice by Giordano. Long shoot in. Knocked aside by the Edmonton goalkeeper. Willie Nylander, who has not had a point in, 4 games?
Has scored in 5, doesn't have a point in the last 4.
Brought out by Tavares. To the line and in. Long shot goes wide of the net. Into the corner on the far side. Nylander trying to center. That deflects wide. And with 17 seconds left, it's down into the Toronto zone. Riley will go back for the puck. This is very, very, very disconcerting. And the fans in Edmonton are celebrating, and the game is over. As the Edmonton Oilers score 4 unanswered goals to erase a 2-0 Toronto lead and beat the Maple Leafs by a score of 4-2.
Really, teams now just seem to be sitting back, and none of the comebacks have really been spectacular. Not like the Leafs have been back on their heels. It's just been horrid mistakes at the wrong time, and the Leafs have been unable to answer for them. And you can go back to, the game against the Red Wings. The Leafs are up 2-1. Morgan Riley breaks his stick. Red Wings score on a breakaway. The Leafs aren't able to respond and get it back. And it seems the Leafs will have a lead. Something bad happens. And then the offense dries up. And everybody starts to play nervous in their own zone. And you and I were talking in the second intermission that you worried, was that goal by Draisaitl going to be the catalyst of an Edmonton comeback and another blown lead by the Leafs?
And it was a rather harmless backhand that eluded Martin Jones, who didn't play bad, but
good enough to lose by a goal. And I don't mean to be that to be smart-ass, but every game, I think you can go to the Nathan McKinnon goal, which was the game-winning goal. It's Nathan McKinnon, but it goes under Martin Jones' arm, hits the middle of the net. The Timothy Liljegren giveaway on the game-winning goal against the Red Wings. Sometimes you get outplayed. Sometimes you pay for every mistake you make, and it seems, especially when the Leafs have a lead, they're going to pay for those horrid mistakes.
Frankie Corrado along with Jim Taddy with the postgame show, and an invitation from yours truly to join us when the Leafs are in Calgary on Thursday night. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness gracious.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
We are saying goodbye to the greatest college football coach the sport has ever seen.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
College football is going to be a lot worse off without Nick Saban.
And expert analysis on college sports radio.
This is huge news. This is something that is going to have a massive domino effect on college football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate
with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick.
Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. That's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Another tough loss for the Leafs. Welcome to Leafs Game Night, the post-game show. 4-2. Edmonton wins as they score 4 unanswered goals, at least with a 2-0 lead, and looking good, and then it slowly evaporates. Jim Taddy, Ralphie is going to hang around, and Frankie C. So, Ralphie, right off the top, I like what you said at the end of the game about teams hanging around. I mean, to me, this loss was eerily similar to the one Sunday at home to Detroit, where Detroit didn't do anything startling, but seized the opportunity. Edmonton had more of a push tonight, but they were patient, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think, like we said, and Frankie knows this, you go in and you're playing the team and you go through the scouting report and everything. The Oilers are well aware that the Leafs have been blowing leads, multi-goal leads. So I think even when it was 2-0, Edmonton, didn't feel uncomfortable. And so it becomes a kind of a compounded problem. The Leafs couldn't get the goal that would put the game away. The same thing when they were up against Colorado, 3-0. You knew at the end of the first period, you probably need at least four to be able to walk out with a win. But now, you know what, it seems because your inability to do that, now every mistake gets magnified. And unfortunately, the mistake, to me, that turned out to be the TSN turning point was the Draisaitl goal in the second period, where it was just it was a backhand lobbed from the face-off dot. I don't think Martin Jones knew where it was because he didn't react. He wasn't in the butterfly, wasn't on the post, and obviously wasn't expecting it. But that's giving up a goal very easily. And whether it's Morgan Riley breaking his stick in the third period against Detroit or Timothy Liljegren's giveaway, it always seems to be these massive mistakes that end up being turning points in games.
I agree with you about the Draisaitl goal. It's a freebie. It's a freebie in a game when you're up 2-1, and
you already got a break on a goal being called back.
Exactly. You got a break on a goal being called back. And there were a number of good opportunities, and Martin Jones made some saves. The thing that I don't understand, Ralphie, it's not like McDavid got the second one and then Draisaitl got the third one, and it was like, man, the Stars just really outplayed you. It was Derek Ryan and Ryan McLeod. Ryan gets his 4th of the year. McLeod gets his 8th of the year. Like, no offense, but that's not exactly the high-flying offense we think about when we think about the Oilers. And with those guys scoring goals, those are Leafs mistakes that you gifted them. So Martin Jones gifts you the Draisaitl goal. And then on the Derek Ryan, it's a bad exchange between TJ Brody and Morgan Riley. And then on the Ryan McLeod, it's a play where Morgan Riley should chase behind the net. He doesn't. And Simon Benoit and Morgan Riley are both standing on the same side of the net as McLeod is able to take that shot. Like, those are 3 freebies for me. I don't think Edmonton generated those 3 goals. The Leafs gifted them to them.
No, and I think it was what did they end up with? I know the empty netter's in there as well, but 3 goals and 8 shots in the third. So this wasn't like you gave up 24 shots in the third and Edmonton just kept coming and throwing up everything. I mean, that's where you've got to own your mistakes. And, you know, whether it's, the goals you just described, Frankie, or as we mentioned, a broken stick by Riley against Detroit, Romanoff, the defenseman, scoring off the wing in the game against the New York Islanders. It just seems to be, the Leafs are making a lot of unsung heroes, pretty well sung when these games are done.
Yeah, they're singing like they're in a choir. And again, they started so well. They looked just great in the first period. They were flying all over the place, and slowly it just sort of wore down, didn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? There were opportunities both ways to call penalties, but some of the stuff that was let go. I mean, the Austin Matthews, the high stick he took. I think the Leafs were still up 2-1 at the time. Things like that can turn the game around as well. And but you know what? When you become your own worst enemy, it doesn't seem like anybody, whether it's the officiating or the opposition, are too eager to help you out.
It's hard to find the answers right now because, you think, I'm going to play Morgan Riley and TJ Brody and, I'll keep some other players off the ice. And then those are the guys that make the mistakes that lead to Edmonton scoring the goals. So, if for Sheldon Keefe, he doesn't have that ace in the hole where it's like, I know I can go to so-and-so and it's all going to be good. Right now, I think he kind of is searching for, okay, who's going to be that guy on any given night that can give me, or that combination of players on any given night that gives me the best chance to win. It's like he has to change it and find it from game to game. And that's a very difficult game for a coach to have to play.
Yeah, and if you've got the Riley-Brody combination, you say, okay, there are 2 guys that can get the puck out, but if they're pressured on the forecheck, they're not as physical as, say, Benoit and McCabe. And Benoit and McCabe are much more physical and great in front of the net, but not as good at getting the puck out. So you're right. It's sort of, pick your poison and hope somebody could sort of, turn a weakness into a strength. And I don't think I've seen a team pinch as much as Edmonton has this year. Every time the Leafs threw it around the wall to try to get it out. Cody Ceci on one shift pinched 3 times to be able to keep it in. So the Leafs, eventually, because as we mentioned, the third line of the Oilers did all the damage, especially in the third period. The Leafs really had trouble with the forecheck.
Ralphie, appreciate you hanging around. Thanks very much.
All right. Thanks, boys.
So 4-2 Edmonton wins, and the hidden story, Frankie C, is 11 straight victories for the Edmonton Oilers. Wow.
And they're playing really good hockey, Jimmy. Like we talked about it at the start of the season, for them, it wasn't going their way. There were a number of things that were wrong with them, whether it was the star players not having confidence to score goals, the defensive mistakes they had, not being able to get the goaltending. They've righted the ship in a big way, and Toronto is, they're spinning their wheels right now. And, you can say it's great that you're able to get leads in games, but you can't hold on to these leads. And, the thing that really comes to the forefront for me tonight, Draisaitl gets the first one, but then it's not like it was a combination of Draisaitl and McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman getting the next ones to take the lead in that game. It's the depth guys. And when your best players on the Maple Leafs are getting beat by the depth players on the Edmonton Oilers, that's a recipe to lose that game, and that's exactly what happened. It was costly mistakes against players lower in the lineup against the Edmonton Oilers by the Leafs' best players. Those are supposed to be the guys that you can rely on to get you through these games, and those shifts that the Leafs' best players are on the ice against the Edmonton depth players, those should be one shifts by the Leaf players, and that's Morgan Riley, that's TJ Brody in those situations. Like Max Domi is on the ice as well in his line on that that second goal.
Right.
So those are the kinds of players you need to lean on and say, guys, like, we need more from you, in the sense that you can't lose your shift to these guys. Those guys can't be scoring goals on us, because you need to weather the storm enough that then I could get the Matthews-Tavares line back on the ice, and they can try and tilt the ice in their direction. They don't get that extra goal. Like Ralphie said, they don't get that extra goal to make it 3-1, but at some point you have to kind of hunker down and say, we're going to play solid defensive hockey here, and the Leafs didn't do that in that third period.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
When you give blood or plasma through Canadian Blood Services, you're not just helping someone. You're helping someone be there for their family, give back to their community, inspire a movement, maybe even change the world. Because when you donate blood or plasma through Canadian Blood Services, you don't just help save lives, you change so many more. You don't just make a difference, you make all the difference. Join Canada's Lifeline and book now at blood.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out our Same Game Parlay Plus now and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes, and I'm back in the gym thanks to Planet Fitness. And for just $15 a month, you can get back in the gym, too. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone, which allows me to use all the best brand-name cardio and strength equipment at my own pace. And whether I'm looking for a customized exercise plan or just a hand using the equipment, certified trainers at Planet Fitness are always there to help out at no extra cost. So get to planetfitness.ca and find a location near you and do what I'm doing. Get back in the gym at Planet Fitness.
Leafs Game Night 4-2. Edmonton wins. They've won 11 straight now. So, Frankie, see, just a minor point. In the 2 or 3 shifts before they pulled the goalie, it was Benoit and Riley on the ice for the 3-2 goal, and then they were followed by McCabe and Liljegren. So no Brody, no Gio there. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, well, I think it
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
felt like he had to go apply some pressure to Ryan McLeod, who was coming around the net. He doesn't have to do that because he leaves Derek Ryan alone in front, but he's going there under the assumption that TJ Brody is going to be back in front of the net covering for him. So there's just a multitude of breakdowns on all these goals, and Sheldon Keefe is trying to put the players on the ice that he thinks he can trust, but he gets shown tonight that those players were not as sharp as they should have been in those situations.
Yeah, certainly the icing call creates a problem because, as you said, these guys are out there and they're tired. 4-2 Edmonton wins. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Jackson drops the throw, fires down the middle. It is caught. Touchdown, Ravens!
Sirius XM NFL Radio is getting you ready for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs.
Brock Purdy, this guy routinely makes ridiculous plays in the passing game. Look routine. He does it week in and week out.
Get closer to the game with interviews with coaches, players, and executives. Hear exclusive coverage of the divisional round on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs Game Night, 4-2. The Oilers win over the Leafs, so the Leafs road trip starts off with a thud. And Frankie, see what we're left with here is they did the California trip and came home, so they had 4 games, 4 wins, 8 points. The next 4 games, 1 point, and 4 blown leads. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and it's not going to get any easier. Calgary's playing some better hockey of late. The Vancouver Canucks are as hot as any team in the NHL. They've been really good. They're first place in the Pacific. They're going to get a Seattle team that's playing much better hockey of late. But here's the killer, Jimmy. They're going to get a home-and-home with the Winnipeg Jets, and Winnipeg is a very stingy defensive team. So, you think about teams that you've had the lead against, and then you've blown the lead. Like, good luck getting a lead against Winnipeg, because they're really good. They're playing some quality hockey. They beat the New York Islanders 4-2 tonight at home, and the beat kind of goes on for them. They've been outstanding. It's not getting any easier for the Leafs, but if you want to kind of look at it this way, they've been in positions where they've had the lead. They are going to take a look at this. They've taken a look at all these games that they've played, Jimmy, and there's a number of things that they haven't executed on, and ultimately that's the reason why they've given up these leads. But the best players, the players that you think you can trust the most, those need to be the players that when the going gets tough or when you're put in a high leverage situation, you need to be able to lean on those guys. And right now, you're not able to do that, and that's a big issue. That leaves the head coach with more questions than answers when he gets down to the nitty-gritty of a game, thinking, okay, who am I putting on the ice here who's going to help preserve a lead for us? I don't think Sheldon Keefe has that answer when he's looking at these situations on the ice right now.
And that's a pretty strong thing to say, because and it's not that it's totally accurate, but you wonder what the next step is.
Well, it's for me, it screams more of a personnel issue than anything else. Like, if you're thinking Simon Benoit is the guy that's going to help you preserve leads against Connor McDavid and company, not that Connor McDavid was the one that scored the goals to come back in this game, but if that's who you think you have to go to, then it's a personnel thing. I think Sheldon Keefe is given a certain hand here as far as who he can play and put on the ice on any given night. We know the warts this team has, but the defensive deficiencies are being emphasized here as, the Leafs are playing in a lot of high leverage situations, having leads against really good teams in Colorado and Edmonton, and seeing those leads evaporate. We're seeing exactly where the Leafs are at and how much work they need to do as far as building a proper roster in order to compete against really good teams.
Frankie C., thanks very much. Nice to have you back.
Yeah, nice to be back, Jimmy. Have a great night.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Going to be coming at me. Sergei Bobrovsky needs 328 games. What is that now? That's 7 seasons, maybe. The one guy who jumped into my head was Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky is at 443, and he's going to be, and he's going to be 30 this year. He's an interesting one. Connor Hellebuck is at 473, and he just turned 30. But those guys, we're talking 500 plus games for them as they get older. But other than that, Jeff, the 1,000 game goalie, we're not going to see one for a long time, if ever.
I say this remembering that when I was a kid, 103 career shutouts, which was held by Terry Sawchuk, seemed unattainable.
Yeah.
That has been blasted. But the one thing that I am very confident in saying, I can't see this record broken, and it speaks to what you're talking about with the 1,000 games.
Is Glenn Hall?
For netminders. No is the all-time wins by a goaltender, Martin Brodeur. Is anyone going to touch 691?
Look, I think the most unbreakable record in sports is Glenn Hall, 502 consecutive starts in a row. That is the most ironclad record, not only in hockey, but in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So don't bring me wins. Wins are immaterial. I'm talking about stuff.
Yes, that one no one is going to touch. Park that. But it was a much, and actually it's even longer if you factor in his AHL streak as well. But yes, to your point, that NHL streak is not going to get touched. But no, who's touching 691 wins?
Nah, I'm with you.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Wednesday, January the 17th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Montreal Canadiens. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 937. Canadiens on Internet 935. 7 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Detroit Red Wings. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 932. Red Wings on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m., Buffalo Sabres face the Chicago Blackhawks. Sabres on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 923. Blackhawks on Internet 926. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Wednesday, January the 17th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Montreal Canadiens. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 937. Canadiens on Internet 935. 7 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Detroit Red Wings. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 932. Red Wings on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m., Buffalo Sabres face the Chicago Blackhawks. Sabres on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 923. 9:30. Blackhawks on internet 9:26. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Wednesday, January the 17th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 7 p.m. New Jersey Devils take on the Montreal Canadiens. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 937. Canadians on Internet 935. 7 p.m. Florida Panthers face the Detroit Red Wings. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 932. Red Wings on Internet 930. 7:30 p.m. Buffalo Sabres face the Chicago Blackhawks. Sabres on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 923. Blackhawks on Internet 926. For full coverage of the NHL regular season, playoffs, and hockey across the world, tune into SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
On their Ray and Dregs podcast, NHL insiders Ray Ferraro and Darren Dreger go over the recent trade between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Anaheim Ducks. The Flyers dealt blue-chip forward prospect Cutter Gauthier, who had made it clear he didn't want to play in Philly, to the Ducks in return for talented fourth-year defenseman Jamie Drysdale, who had just returned to the lineup after being out 2 months with a lower body injury.
Right. We don't often see players of this stature. Now, we don't know what they're going to be yet as NHL players. Players of this stature traded in a transaction like this.
Well, the uniqueness, of course, is that Gauthier didn't want to go to Philadelphia, and there gets to be a point where, Danny Briere and the Flyers and Keith Jones, and they're in a dead end, and they're like, okay, well, they're not even returning calls, which I find rather almost amateurish. If that's indeed the story, then why wouldn't you at least return a call and say, yeah, guess what, I'm not coming? I mean, Briere and Jones flew over to Sweden to try and talk to him and didn't get a chance to talk to him. It's a long way to go for a trip to IKEA, and they get nothing out of it. So now they've got to pivot and they've got to make this deal. And